Makes you proud to be an American.
On San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
This is going to be a busy offseason. This won't be the last of these types of reports. I have a feeling we're going to see more. Like San Diego State feels like a domino that has to fall before other dominoes get to fall.
But does it feel like the Pac-12 is the right move?
If I'm J.D. Wicker, if I'm Adela De La Torre, if I'm looking at this from a I got to be protective San Diego State situation, I want to wait until the Pac-12 has a pretty firm media agreement in place, right, so I know exactly how much we stand to gain by joining the Pac-12.
Now, here are the guys.
Yes. Happy hump day to those who celebrate. It's Wednesday on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Woo! And we are so damn pumped to be with you.
Love Wednesday!
Unleash the beast. Let the hate flow. We know what you want to do today, and we're here to facilitate it. There are a lot of people out there who are frustrated. They're tired. They're downtrodden. They feel like they've been hoodwinked, put upon. This Padres team, they lull you into a sense of security, and then they punch you right in the teeth, and they say, "Shut up, you idiot! We're not gonna do you any good. We're gonna make you feel bad. In fact, real bad." And that's what they did again in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area last night. Jock Peterson plays hero. Hader walks in the winning run, and we're all left to feel like, geez, twice now. Waka
well, we're
and
supposed
Lugo.
to feel like Bob Melvin should be fired.
Okay.
That's how we're supposed to feel.
Yes,
according to the internet.
Let's start there. And actually, we're gonna revisit this topic a couple of times on the show. So your participation is needed. If you're listening to us and you have an opinion on Bob Melvin, text us 70470. Start your message with team. Or comment on our YouTube Live. We're YouTube Live every single day. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on YouTube. You can search us, subscribe to us, like us, do all those things. Also, you can comment. We see all of them flying. Bob Melvin, problem or not the problem? Your thoughts?
I'm starting to feel like it's a bit of a problem. Starting to lean that direction.
Like a tiny bit of the problem. The problem is you have a closer who's making a ton of money walking in the game-winning run. The problem is, on Bob Melvin's side, if you're going to have Josh Hader in the ninth inning, why not start the ninth inning with him? The bigger problem is the bullpen keeps giving up leads. Like, the offense gets the lead, the offense doesn't expand on it, but the offense gets a lead, and then the bullpen doesn't hold it. Like, there's your problem.
Right.
But I don't see what Bob Melvin really has to do with that.
What was the thought process, though, if Hader gets you to the 10th? Do you keep Hader in the 10th?
No, he wouldn't get the thought process initially is Hader doesn't come in the ninth inning at all. The thought process initially is Martinez gets you through it.
Yes.
And then you get to the 10th inning, hopefully with a lead because you have a runner on second, and then Hader can come in and shut the door.
Correct.
I would not have put Hader in the ninth inning at all. I would have just let whoever it was figure it out.
So here's where I come down on this, and I'm going to say a very similar thing that I said yesterday. I'm not going to blame a manager for any one game until you get to the postseason. And then I really do feel strongly about these debates, because when it comes down to, hey, this is the decision that winner loses a game for the season, well, then we're talking about whether you got it or not in clutch situations. Why do we like Tiger Woods? Because Tiger Woods, not only is he great at destroying a field and winning when he has an enormous lead heading into the weekend, but also in those playoffs, like we were talking about here at Torrey Pines for the U.S. Open years ago, the playoff between him and Rocco Media, where he's playing on half a knee, he's still able to win those type matchups too. We love clutch performers. It's the reason why we love Tom Brady. It's the reason why we love all these, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. We love Steph Curry. We love athletes or managers or coaches who, when it comes down to crunch time, they call the play, they make the decision, they make the play that wins the game. Now, are we at crunch time right now on June 20th? No, we're not. We're not there yet. But one day we will be. And that's the question is Bob the right guy in those moments? Is Bob the right guy to win a World Series? Are you convinced that Bob Melvin is the type of manager that's going to take this team to the absolute pinnacle of the sport, not once, but through a decade? Because Peter Seidler said The 2020s are going to be our run of championships here in San Diego. Is Bob Melvin the guy?
I mean, according to last year, probably not. Like last year, there were some mistakes made in the postseason managing. I think they got a little lucky in the Dodgers series. There was a little bit of fate going on in the Dodgers series, but there were some moves that Bob Melvin made that were extremely questionable. And in the Phillies series, well, wasn't really a series. Like, how much could Bob Melvin have really done? Now, I will say they got to the NLCS, which is a lot farther than I've ever seen the Padres get in my lifetime, outside of when I was like 2 years old. So maybe Bob Melvin is the guy, but I don't even know if we're there yet. What I'm saying is the outrage on social media, the outrage online about what's happening with everyone except the players on this Padres team. Somehow the players are blameless in all of this. And I'm like, they're big boys. They can handle a little criticism.
Well,
Be mad at them.
I don't know if the players are blameless, and I don't know if the masses on the internet are not blaming players. However, what they're looking for is something that they can call out and change. They can't change a lot of those players. You can't. I mean, they're locked in. You can change who's at manager. So that's how you're starting to call out that you want to see something done to try to change the trajectory of where this team is going.
Here's my contention. I'm going to push back on the theory that changing the manager changes everything, because this is what I'll say.
Right. And I'm not saying that's my theory.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying there is that theory out there.
Right,
I mean, I've been reading tweets all night long about, well, and this morning as well, waking up to this, they need to clear out the entire staff. We got the players, but this coaching staff is a joke. Get rid of the manager. All these things. You're hearing it from every corner of Padres Twitter. Here's my contention, and here's where I'll push back a little bit. And then who becomes the manager? Because guess what? AJ Preller is still running the show. So if you didn't like Andy Green, if you didn't like Jace Tingler, and you don't like Bob Melvin, then what gives you hope that the next manager hired here in San Diego is going to be the magical elixir that changes everything? Again, I'm going to preach patience here. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because, like you just pointed out, Ben, the NLCS run just happened. And also, it was a frustratingly poor, inconsistent regular season that led us to the postseason that yielded those results. Now, if they lose in the NLCS again, or earlier in the postseason, then I'll hear the debate. Like I will, but I'm really one of these people who, if it's clear that they're going to miss the postseason, if it's clear that this team is going to struggle down the stretch, I'm going to have questions. But I don't think I'm going to come down on cleaning house or sweeping Bob Melvin out with yesterday's news until he shows me that he can't perform in crunch time, where his decision-making is the reason why the Padres get bounced from the playoffs. And until that time, you'll hear me preach this patience. But I understand from a fan standpoint being frustrated with what you're seeing, because I am too.
And you're just looking for something.
Yes.
You're looking for something, because this team was promised to be the team that would bring San Diego out of the sports hell that we've been in our entire lives. And that's what this team was promised to do. And so far, it's not happening. Now, I will say, if they get to a situation where it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs, there's going to be changes, and there's going to be a lot of changes. And I would imagine not a whole lot of people are keeping their jobs. But back to your original point, who the hell are you going to fill in for Bob Melvin if you fire him right now?
No.
Like, is it someone on the staff? Because you have Ryan Flaherty, Ryan Christensen. Like, who the hell are you going to bring in to like replace Bob Melvin? There's no one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess where I start to feel like I start to lean towards maybe this is Bob Melvin's fault. At least a part of it is, because last night brought me back to that National League Championship game, the final game with the Phillies, when I was screaming, "Bring in Hader in the 8th." And then here we are in the 9th. Things are tied up. You got an out. You got 2 men on. You bring in Hader to a spot where he's really shouldn't be put in that position, but he should be able to get out of it. Either way, I was thinking, wait, you bring him in now, but you didn't bring him in the NCLS? I mean, what's going on?
I love
NLCS.
I love what Ben's been doing throughout the season, sort of updating us on what the Padres need to do to have a good season, like something that we were expecting to start the season. They're 35-38 right now.
Those numbers are not safe for work. NSFW. They are dirty.
No, I want you to do this to us. Well, I need to hear it, because it brings expectations to where they need to be. But right now, 35-38, the Padres are struggling. They're under 500. This team should have never been under 500 this season. And there's many reasons why they are. I don't think specifically Bob Melvin is the only reason, but he's a part of it. I will contend when you're the manager, you're the coach, it doesn't matter how important or influential that position is in baseball or say the NBA anymore. It matters. You're a part of the puzzle. You're not the whole piece to the puzzle, but you're part of the puzzle. So, okay, 35 and 38. What do these Padres need to do to have something that resembles a good season, Ben?
Do you want those numbers first, which are really gross, or do you want some numbers specific to the last two nights that are even grosser as a little palate starter?
Okay, as an amuse-bouche, let's start with the last two nights.
Okay, the last two nights, and this is from Darnay Tripp. I'll give him the credit.
Wait, these are the worst numbers.
These are worse than the
God.
next numbers.
Okay, well, I guess that's good. We'll
All right,
save,
so
we'll
the
save
last-
the best for
because
last.
Let's be honest. If we had a show on Monday, that show on Monday would have been very high on the Padres because they just came off a really good homestand.
Fun weekend.
It looked like they were turning some things around, but the last two nights have been dreadful, and here are the numbers to explain why. Innings 1 through 5, the last two nights, the Padres have scored 7 runs. Innings 6 through 9, the last two nights, the Padres have scored 0 runs. So you can look at Bob Melvin's managing of the bullpen. You could look at how the bullpen's performed. I still think the number one issue on this team is offense, hitting with runners in scoring position because they just don't do it.
Gosh.
1 through 5, 7 runs. 6 through 9, 0 runs.
Yeah, that's awful.
Mm.
That's awful. What's the next part of this number equation here?
This is the more macro view of whole everything.
Okay, so if that made your stomach hurt, just wait. There's more.
All right, so macro view. They're 35 and 38 on the season so far. 4th place in the NL West. By the way, the Giants have now won 9 straight games and are flying up those standings. They actually just overtook the Dodgers. 89 games left on the season. To get to 89 wins, which I think we all would agree that maybe you need 86 to get into the playoffs this year, but 89 wins, they would need to go 54 and 35. That would be 19 games over 500
Yeah.
the rest of the way.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's
And again, maybe you need 86 to get in.
So 54 and 35. That's what we're eyeballing. Okay. So, I mean, we're at the point where this team, look, they need to turn it around for this to be anything that resembles a successful season. And there was this feeling, we all remember, we all recall early last fall where we're like, will they or won't they make the postseason? And it becomes a numbers game. And you're seeing teams hit their magic number left and right where it's like, oh, well, they're locked in. They're going to make the wild card. And what about this? Oh, no, they're in too. Well, what about us? No.
and the magic number is 6.
We got the Brewers hot on our tail. St. Louis is really, they're hawking. You just start to look around the space you're in. And it's going to be very soon here, next season, for example, especially if the Padres make another deep postseason run or potentially make a World Series. This team, this will no longer be acceptable in the regular season. Where
I would say it's not acceptable right now.
But here's the deal. Again, fast forward. Say we're all turning off our microphones and saying, hey, listen, they didn't win the World Series, but at least they got there, and there's always next season. We'll see you tomorrow. We turn off our microphones. Everybody's going to be like, well, yeah, Bob Melvin's going nowhere. Changes aren't going to be made outside of adding more pieces to the puzzle to make them even greater in the offseason. People will be excited because they'll start talking about Shohei Ohtani. I'm telling you, it'll be a completely different feeling. But the way we get there is going to be a bigger problem next regular season because say Peter Seidler recommits, there's more effort to make the lineup stronger, the bullpen stronger, the rotation stronger, and then they stumble out the gates next year. That's going to be the year where I'm going to go, why is it always fits and starts? Why is it always such a battle in the regular season to get to the postseason? And then I'll start feeling like, geez, yeah, we got to change something. This year, not yet. Because again, you're still talking about a bunch of star players who basically just met each other, who are acclimating to each other. And under the Bob Melvin banner, they've yielded results so far. Now, we'll see if it holds up. This was really disappointing what happened with the Giants, but the Giants are on an absolute heater right now. They've won 9 in a row. Yeah. Sometimes you run into a buzzsaw. That's what the Bay Area is right now.
And they keep finding new ways to win, which is a very San Francisco Giants thing. If you remember those 3 years they won the World Series, like none of those teams were great. None of those teams looked like they belonged, but they would just find ways to win. And so they got magic up there with some reason. Last year, Rich, you mentioned it. It was that race between the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Padres for who was going to get those wild card spots. This year, it's going to be a little more complicated. there's more teams. There's a lot more. The Marlins, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Cubs, the Padres, the Pirates are even in this. The Mets are in this. These are all teams that are going to be competing for those 3 wild card spots, and they're all very close right now in the standings. Like, how much longer can you afford to keep a losing record? And I would say not much longer.
No, and when you lose one game, it really hurts because just a couple games ago they were 2.5 games out of the wild card spot, but because of who's winning, now they're 5 games out of the wild card spot. So you start slipping fast if they can't win.
All right,
and I mentioned it earlier. Like, the Giants have overtaken the Dodgers at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're not just competing. Like, the D-backs are a little bit ahead of both of them, but the Giants have overtaken the Dodgers. You're talking about 3 teams ahead of you in your own division in the NL West.
Yeah,
the Dodgers are they outside of they're the number 1 for the wild card spot, right?
The Dodgers would be the final wild card team right now.
Yeah.
The Giants would be the second. The Marlins would be the first. But then there's a litany of teams right there, all behind them, and the Padres are in the middle of that.
Yeah, it's a crowded pack.
That's a struggle.
Coming up on the show, we have a pair of tickets to see Fall Out Boy on Saturday, July 1st. That's the Saturday we're talking about at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Keep listening, though, for your chance to win, because we're going to play a little sitcom rodeo later on.
Yeah, we are.
Like that.
It is a Wednesday, and we got to do some things.
It's the summer solstice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. June 21st.
Yeah.
It's the longest day of the year.
Oh, it's a golfing day.
Oh, it's a golfing day. A little twilight. When I was driving in, you know how you have the air conditioner set to, like, the outside air can come in? Mm-hmm. The smell on the 52 of fresh cut grass.
The best.
Like, the summer's happening, boys. And so we're getting into the dog days with these Padres, and it's starting to feel like, gosh, we just want to see some winning baseball.
That's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we get off the Padres, our buddy Jamar tweeted in and said, at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, Padres need to listen to Mike Tomlin's speech on reasonable expectations.
Right.
Dude, play that
on
Bomel
needs to deliver that speech or something like it to this clubhouse.
Well, and to that point, we also got another tweet talking about how this is a team full of colorful personalities, and Bob Melvin is a little too bland for them. Listen, it doesn't really matter, right? Because Phil Jackson won all those championships in basketball, and he was the Zen master. He never got outside of himself. You know what I mean? Steve Kerr in the NBA, like, he's not necessarily like this fiery yeller. It's just not his style.
I'd argue you almost need sort of a boring manager with a team like the Padres.
Yeah, you might. It might be the right yin to the yang. Look, again, right now it doesn't feel right because they're sucking.
The problem is AJ Preller. The problem is the way this roster is built. Like, it's extremely top heavy in both the bullpen and the lineup.
This is 619 agrees with you guys. This is also on AJ. He built this top heavy team, never addressed catcher until he had to. And why is Grisham the strikeout machine still our center fielder? Bogart seemed like a desperation signing since everyone else turned them down, not to mention a bad extension to Chrome.
All right, so check this out. We're going to be taking your texts all day long. 70470. Start your message with team. That's TEAM. If you want to weigh in on Bob Melvin, is he the problem? Is that the reason why the Padres are struggling? We would love to hear from you. Also coming up later on the show, we'll be joined by Chris Vanini. He is an article writer, a college football scribe for The Athletic. Just wrote an article yesterday about San Diego State's potential leaving of the Mountain West, potential joining of the Pac-12, and where the conversation is. So essentially what's happened is a letter was sent out to the Mountain West from San Diego State, per reports, and this letter was to open the door to a discussion about leaving the Mountain West. Okay, Pac-12 still haven't gotten their ducks in a row from a media rights standpoint, so they haven't officially offered San Diego State admittance to the Pac-12. So essentially, you got San Diego State a little bit in limbo right now. If you're reading these reports and trusting what you're hearing, thinking like, okay, well, we can't just leave the conference and be in no man's land. Like, we want to have safe purchase in our next conference. And they're and essentially saying to the Mountain West, like, is it cool if you give us like the green light when that time comes? And that's where we're at. So the article explains all this, and Chris Vanini is a longtime voice on college football to help organize those thoughts and also give his opinions to what's going to happen next. In the article, this is the opening line of like one of the sort of the bottom line. Basically, at the moment, the Mountain West is acting as if San Diego State will officially leave the conference next year. The bylaws state that a school resigns from the Mountain West Board of Directors immediately upon its notice of resignation from the league. So, for the time being, De La Torre, which is the president of San Diego State, has been removed from the board of directors. As San Diego State Union Tribune first reported, at SDSU's estimated $6 million annual conference distribution is set to be withheld as part of this exit fee. The problem, San Diego State currently doesn't have a conference to join just yet. So Chris Vanini will join us in a little while to help us figure out what's next for SDSU.
The most fascinating thing about that article is the fact that this is the time of year where all the presidents of the different universities take a vacation. And so
Well-
there's not much expected to be done right now because it sounds like everybody's in Hawaii.
Well, the thing is,
Maybe not at SDSU.
you always have a cell phone. You always have an email. There's no such thing as a complete vacation when you're in these positions. So when the wheels of change started moving, like, trust me, people will answer their phone. And these are big issues. We're talking about, potentially a tent pole of the Mountain West and San Diego State leaving this athletic conference for greener pastures, and potentially joining a Power 5 conference, which I know this is a shared opinion here on this show. They should have access to. So interesting times in college football, certainly for San Diego State. Interesting times in the NBA. We got the draft tomorrow night, and we've got a particular player we're going to spotlight. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
The NBA draft is tomorrow night. There's a ton of hype around one particular player. Do we buy it? We'll talk about it next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. We will begin here with the Padres, who lose another close one in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area, except this time it wasn't a walk-off homer. It wasn't even a walk-off single. It was a walk-off walk. Josh Hader walks Jock Peterson with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth inning, allowing the winning run to score. Padres now 35-38 on the season. Giants have now won 9 straight games. They're flying up the division rankings. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 8-6. D-backs lose to the Brewers 7-5. Dodgers take down the Angels 2-0. In the NFL, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill under investigation for assault and battery at a Miami Beach marina where he allegedly hit a marina employee. Reports out of Miami Sports Radio are that he actually hit the employee on the back of the head with an open hand. No charges have been placed as of now. And in tennis, Venus Williams back at Wimbledon this year after being granted a wild card entry. The 43-year-old, this will be her 24th Wimbledon. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
I don't want to round up drama, little mama something. Yeah. I don't know.
You nailed it, Fergie.
From Fergie. Yeah, Fergie.
That was hot.
Yeah. Big Rich and Fletch. San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acey, who normally joins us on Wednesday, has decided I'd rather meet with you guys Thursday.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's working on something big, or he didn't want to wake up.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Just this week? I mean, is it going to be Thursday from now on?
I love the text that he was sending Ben yesterday. He's like, no, Wednesdays are great for you guys.
Let me read this.
But like, I was thinking Thursday might be better for you guys. Like, I'm not talking about like what's best for me. It's more like for you guys.
I did my normal Kevin AC Tuesday text, and I said, hey, Kev, you good for 8:30 tomorrow? And he said, for sure. But would you maybe want to do Thursday? I mean, that's a good day, too. Might be a better day for you guys. It's not about me. Might be better for you. And I said, you strike a strong argument. Thursday it is. And he said, that's awesome. Thank you. I mean, for you guys, that is awesome. And then He said, "And let's do video, I promise."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just opened a website called onlykevin.com.
It's good.
And we are going to post that right up there. No, it's going to be on YouTube Live where you can subscribe to our page, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Just type that into YouTube. You can find us there, like us, subscribe to that. Also, we usually stream live on Twitter as well every morning. So we have a couple options to see our faces in our places every morning. Okay. So you just mentioned Fergie.
Yeah. Big.
Ferg?
Fergie Ferg.
Fergie Ferg.
The reason why Fergie is so relevant to this next topic is, do you remember she sung the anthem at the All-Star game?
Stand by.
Yeah, because we're about to talk a little NBA draft, but you brought it up.
It's not good.
You brought it up, so we may as well.
It's not one of the prouder Fergie moments.
I actually think it was a good moment because she showed that she's gonna stick it out.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. That's what we do here in the studio.
Yeah, we just be ourselves.
The best part of this whole thing is when they pan over to all that, like Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and they're just laughing their
They're
ass off.
trying to keep straight faces. They can't. Oh,
Well, if you just listen to it, it almost sounds like there's a 3-piece jazz band and they're like the Cats from Aristocats. Yeah. Got the upright bass.
I mean, she's making up words.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Go on, do your thing, Ferg.
Wow.
It was so bad.
How? You think she was drinking before this?
I think she probably did the audition, or not the audition, rehearsal.
It's not bad.
Nailing it.
Oh.
That's the one.
Yeah.
The
That's when Draymond loses it.
oh, dude. Well, yeah. I mean, how could you not?
Wow.
I mean, it really. Look, here's the thing. I like risk takers. I love the idea of people who are like, I'm going to be the first or I'm going to be the best, and they go out and try. Because I don't really believe in failure. I just think that it's just a try that didn't go the right way, and you could try again.
I felt like that
Maybe
was going
don't try
to end.
again.
That was going to end, and it was going to now pan to the table of Randy Jackson, Paula Abdul,
It
and
wasn't for
Simon
me,
Cowell.
dog.
Yeah,
It wasn't for me.
Dog,
you know what?
Dog.
I'm gonna say this.
Dude.
I'm gonna say this. It was a little pitchy for me, dog. Right there when the red glare, yeah. I would have done it differently, but that's just me. It was objectively horrible.
Oh, Simon, please stop.
No, Paula. No.
Simon, she tried.
She's a big girl. She's got a big girl pants on. It was objectively
Why are you so
a mess.
mean?
Okay, Paula, you've had your time to talk. It was objectively horrible. You should be stricken from this planet altogether. You should be in a submersible under the North
I
Atlantic.
think I'm gonna
They only
cry.
have like 2 hours left.
Dude,
by the
I
way.
know. Yeah, the
Like,
air's
I mean,
running out.
It's almost curtains. No.
Did you guys ever think Simon and Paula had something going on?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I always did.
Yeah, there was something. They were very, because they were fresh to each other.
Yeah.
They were very comfortable and familiar. And then Randy was like, I'm over here eating cheese doodles. I do not know what's going on.
A little Charles Barkley.
Yeah, a
a
little
little
bit.
bit.
I saw Charles
I
Barkley.
wish Charles Barkley was on the show.
I saw him take it. Yeah, well, Ben's got his number.
It's American. Can you call him and see if he can get on American Idol?
Just call him. You put it on speaker.
Yeah, call him right now.
If
Just call him. Let's just call.
I'm
Let's
not
just
gonna
dial.
cold call Charles Barkley and get my
Why?
number blocked.
Well, hang on. Call him.
No, you call from the station.
I will shoot him a text and say, "Hey, Charles, would you want to join our show
just
tomorrow?"
dial him from the station.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And
Just
then
dial him.
if he
not from
answers,
your
we're going
phone.
to say, Chuck, we're sorry. You're on the radio right now. We decided to call you this morning. We hope we didn't wake you up. How are you, Sir
Yeah,
Charles?
exactly.
Not legal.
Oh, it's
Why is that
legal.
not legal?
That's legal.
How is that
I
illegal?
never
Definitely
take-
frowned upon.
Hang on. I
I
definitely
still want to have a friendship with this guy.
That
okay?
was there's no
Hang on a second.
legality
Wait a
in
second.
that.
In order to continue your friendship, you need to have a friendship in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. I want to build a friendship with this guy.
Wait a second. Do you know him at all?
No,
Have you ever met him?
no, but I have a cell, and it's still blue, meaning it's an iMessage, meaning it's an iPhone.
Oh,
What? Dial him right now.
we should call him.
I'm gonna text him
Yeah.
and just say, "Do my normal spiel. Do you want to join the show tomorrow? We love you. We're big fans.
Yeah.
Rich thinks you sound like
Yeah,
Randy Jackson.
Because we want to talk NBA draft.
Yeah, we do. Because Victor Wembanyama, he went out and he threw the first pitch at a Yankees game yesterday. And I don't know if anybody saw the pictures floating around.
Oh my god, his
social
hand
media.
over the ball.
Yeah. When he takes a baseball and he clasps his fingers around said baseball. I mean, look it up, Travis. You haven't seen this yet. It's life-changing. It looks like the movie Alien. I mean, it honestly does. This is proof that extraterrestrials walk amongst us. Watching him get into a New York subway car, which is something that also floated around social media yesterday, was equally hysterical.
Wow.
Look at that hand.
Wow. Wow.
And then you watch his highlights.
Yeah.
And you think like, oh, he's another big guy coming into the NBA. Wrong.
Yeah.
Like he's got the handles of a Kevin Durant or a Steph Curry. Like the dude can move and he can shoot. And he's about to come into this league. And I think the Spurs are going to be really good for a really long time because of it.
It makes the baseball look about the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
It would be like if I had a golf ball, and I
Yeah.
don't have small hands. Like if I put a golf ball in my hands, you would look at it and you would say, well, yeah, of course it disappears. It's a golf ball. With Victor Wembanyama, he does that with a baseball. I mean, it's crazy.
Did you see his first pitch at the Yankee game?
Oh, a bit outside.
Wait, it's a little, just a tad outside. I mean, hopefully he shoots better.
It wasn't-
than he.
It wasn't as bad as, say, 50 Cent or
No, it wasn't that bad.
You remember Travis Kelce almost killed a guy?
Oh yeah, right.
Right.
And
And then actually,
Mila.
oh my God.
He had like the worst first pitch of all time.
Baja Biamila had one of, I mean, and then I'm pretty sure Wembanyama also then got the ball back and then hurled it into the stands. Like, that's the other funny thing about this. Oh, actually, they're playing it on that TV right there. They were like, don't you want to keep the ball? And Wemby's just like, nah, check this out. Hucked it into the stands because there are fans asking him to. I mean, that was pretty cool.
It was cool.
Pretty baller.
Yeah. Well, he had to pick it up off the ground because it was uncatchable.
I'm curious where he ends up going. I'm curious. I'm curious.
To the Spurs, #1 overall.
Yeah. I'm curious what he looks like once he gets going at the NBA level.
Yeah, because when he's playing overseas, it's no one is close to as tall or as fast as him. So he kind of just it looks like a 8th grader who hit puberty before everyone else, like really dominating every other middle schooler.
But there's a lot of good pros. Now, Jokic proved that if you're a skillful big man, you're hard to beat in this league. It's just there's so few players like him. I don't want to compare Wembanyama to a 2-time NBA MVP and a champion now, but that's the type of skill set we're talking about. Where like you said, he can shoot. He's got handles. He's got court vision. He's that type of player. He's a Kevin Durant or a Jokic type of player. We'll see how it pans out at the NBA level, because again, how many times do we say this guy is a surefire XYZ in any sport and they flame out, or they're too little, or they can't compete when the bright lights come on? We'll see.
I texted Chuck.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does it
Nice
say
work.
red yet?
Yeah. Actually, check on it.
Yeah, check
Yeah.
on
I
it.
don't know if he
Does
has
it
his
say
red receipts
delivered?
on.
Say delivered.
It says delivered.
Okay. All right.
He's got the text.
How about this? Searchers detect banging every 30 minutes near area where Titanic sub vanished.
Dude,
Canadian
that.
Maritime Surveillance and Patrol aircraft picked up the banging.
And apparently it's the same banging that other sub survivors have used in the past. And it's that whoever the
SOS.
French dude is on the bottom, he's the guy that was captaining it.
Yeah. So it's like the dots and dashes, right? It's like
Morse
ding, ding.
code.
No, but they
Ding.
can only do it like every
Ding,
30
ding, ding.
minutes for 3 minutes. Otherwise, it would sound like marine life. This was all over my TikTok yesterday.
Wow, you are. I mean, I cannot read about this. I'm just getting my information by absorbing it ambiently from like you guys or from people talking about it. And I've asked a couple of questions along the way. because it makes me sick to my stomach to imagine.
Oh, it's horrifying.
I immediately imagine being in this situation and I'll have a nightmare about it tonight if I think about it too much.
Yeah.
What a terrifying experience. And then also, these people will forever be changed when they come back up.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, regardless of alive or whatever, like physically they can recover, but mentally, can you imagine? What happens if these people want to get on an elevator?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean,
and also the world of extreme tourism, which that's what this is now questioning everything. So it's probably a good thing.
yeah. Well,
Still down to go to space.
Me too, because if worst comes to worst, you get blown to smithereens. Although then again, you could get stuck floating in orbit. Nobody can get to you, and you're running out of oxygen.
Yeah, but a lot of people have drowned. Not very many people have died just floating in space.
Maybe you skip off the atmosphere on your way back in, and you're just on a trajectory out into nothingness.
That's what I'm like. But that'd be a pretty cool way to go.
I mean, cooler than being under the ocean. I would agree with that. Yeah, cooler. What are they? 2 miles underneath?
2.5 miles.
Oh God,
right.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
legitimately, I'm having a physical reaction to thinking about it. That is absolutely terrible.
I mean, what's crazy is when you go, oh, they're 2.5 miles under the water, but you'll look up at a small plane in the sky and go, oh, it's at 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even how. Well, they're just over that depth. A airliner is at 40,000 feet.
Oh man. Oh my God. Okay.
The weight of the ocean.
We need a palate cleanser. Let's turn to something more positive.
Fire Bob Melvin.
Oh.
Okay. We'll get back to that actually soon.
The number one article on sportssd.com right now is about Livy Dunn.
About Livy Dunn? Oh, the LSU gymnast?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that. That sounds good. Also, you never know when it's time to move on from a star. As it turns out, I think the Kansas City Chiefs may have nailed this. We'll explain next. All right, coming up next, Tyreek Hill's next problem with the police. We'll explain. Yeah, we're going to get back into the Padres struggles in just a little bit here. And we want to hear from you. Comment on our YouTube live and search us at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on YouTube. We're live every single morning on YouTube these days at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. You can follow us, subscribe, like, all those things. And you can comment on this thought process because this has been flowing around Twitter. The hate is flowing freely on Padres Twitter. Should the Padres move on from Bob Melvin or not? We'll discuss that coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Also, Chris Vanini is going to join us on the show to discuss San Diego State's potential departure from the Mountain West. But we got to focus on this for a moment. Oh, and text us. If you want to weigh in and you're away from your computer right now, you got your cell phone in your hand, 70470. Start your text with team, and that'll come straight to us on your thoughts on Bob Melvin and the Padres. Okay. Setting that aside for a moment, because we will return to that in a moment. Tyreek Hill has allegedly been involved in an assault. The Miami-Dade Police Department is investigating Hill for allegedly hitting a man working at the Hollover Marina. Per the report, Hill got into some kind of disagreement with the employee of one of the charter companies based in the marina on Sunday. The disagreement ended with Hill allegedly striking the employee, and the victim right now does not want to press charges, per reports.
So there's a radio dude in Miami who said that the whole hit was kind of just a whack on the back of the head.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't really matter, to be quite
But
honest.
the dude's not pressing charges, right?
Well, probably a check involved.
Yeah. Yes. Look, assault is assault.
Yeah.
But when you're a rich man, potentially, and you can settle this without it going to the courts, and you just have your lawyers get involved where he signs something to say, I'll never sue you for this, and make it go away for 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it's worth to Tyreek Hill in terms of the time or the public relations nightmare that might come of a potential civil settlement that has to be reached or a court case. So the problem is the behavior. It almost has nothing to do with how it's resolved. It's just like, Tyreek Hill, buddy, keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
Like,
We
what?
should have learned this already.
I mean, in preschool, I'm sitting down with my 5-year-old and I'm literally saying to him, teeth are for what? Food. That's right. They're for food.
Dad's arms.
Hands are for what? Hugs.
Yeah.
That's right. Hugs.
That's
And
right.
not just anybody. You have to ask before you hug.
If you can't,
Do I have your consent to hug you, Miss Nina? Yes, you do.
if you can't keep still, sit on your hands.
Yeah.
Tyreek, come on.
I mean, what is going on? Like, so the Chiefs move on from him years ago, and he gets traded to Miami, and he signs the big contract. And everybody's like, "How will the Chiefs do it without him?" They win a Super Bowl,
Right.
And then Miami looks good. I mean, Tyreek Hill is a game changer, obviously offensively. But then you think like, but this headache is going to rear its head, and of course it does.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess luckily it is some small incident. I mean, it could be something much, much worse, but you are correct. I mean, it's just the behavior is so ridiculous. This is maddening to me. It's maddening. And by the way, when you throw out a number like 50 grand or 100 grand, something tells me they know how much Tyreek Hill makes. Yeah, they know how much this could hurt him
Hey,
for a
Tyreek,
minute.
if you want to come slap someone else,
Yeah. You could use a cool $250,000.
I'm down to tango.
We've already called out Conor McGregor. And we know Conor listens to the show. So Conor, if you
if you want to text in,
you're listening today, you want to text in 70470, start your message with team and accept the $50,000 offer to punch Ben in the face. We're now going to extend the same offer to Tyreek Hill.
That feels a little light.
Wait.
If this guy's getting away with 50 grand for getting slapped on the back of the head.
well, we said
no,
this.
no,
We
I'm
said this
saying
at the
I know you're
beginning.
just
That's
throwing
just
the number out
hypothetical,
there, but
yeah.
it's probably at least 50 grand. So maybe I undervalued the punch a little bit.
Well,
That's what we were telling
we
you.
said this in the beginning. You have already set the line now.
What
That's
about
it.
a kick? How much would it take for a kick?
way more.
A lot more?
Really?
Yeah, dude. Conor McGregor's legs are lethal weapons.
So what about like wearing, like if he's wearing like sensible walking shoes like Skechers?
Right.
Like, and he
Maybe,
just
yeah.
kicked you like with a nice padded
Like the
tongue
the Skechers.
Where am I getting kicked?
in the face.
In
Oh,
face, yeah.
God.
The Skechers you don't tie though. The ones you can just slip in while you're standing up.
Like, it's if you listen to the UFC fights, they talk about legs as if like you're being swung a baseball bat at your face.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
well, I mean, I'm assuming the
Wait,
fist
so
isn't
what's
much
your
better.
point?
Yeah.
I
Because
would rather be punched than kicked. That's for sure.
I think I would too. I think I would
Really?
much rather take a punch. Yeah. I've never really been like, I've been punched in the face a lot. I mean, a lot in my life.
and a lot of other people have
Are we-
too. Not too many people have been kicked
yeah.
in
Are
the
we-
face
are we
by
talking-
a UFC star.
Are we talking a bare knuckle punch versus a kick with a shoe?
Yeah, all day I would take. The
Yeah, I
punch.
think I would take the punch.
I think I'd go shoe.
Trev, no, you don't really watch the UFC, right, Travis?
What if
Well,
I
it's a
punch
little
you
violent for
with
me.
a
It's a
shoe
little
on my
too
head?
violent for you. Have
That'd
you
be fine.
seen
That's
some of the
fine.
knockouts that these guys do with their legs? Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
they get the
Yeah, no,
full kick.
Listen, I don't want either. I'm not the guy who signed up for it. You're that guy.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if I'm going to get kicked in the face with a shoe, it's going to be with an arch support from the Good Feet store. in it.
Attaboy.
I'm talking about.
I mean, like,
you
land
want
that
to feel,
plane,
you wanna
baby.
feel good while you're doing it.
that's
You
right. I want to make sure that whoever's kicking me in the face doesn't have low back pain. Because that's what I've experienced wearing these Good Feet store arch supports that have numerous benefits, not just pain relief. If you have a sore low back, though, bad knees, hips, ankles, feet, these can help there, but better balance, performance, injury prevention, recovery. You've heard me talk about this a lot because I love the Good Feet store and their products. Go over to the Mission Valley location like us or any of the 200 locations across the U.S. and overseas and get precision fit to your personal needs and your lifestyle, your profession. Maybe you're a UFC fighter. Maybe you're a UFC fighter who we're challenging to come over here for a certain amount of money to punch or kick Ben right in the face. You could still benefit from the Good Feet store arch supports. So get out to the Good Feet store. Again, they're 30 plus years of experience. Or check them out at goodfeet.com. Okay, coming up next, we mentioned earlier, Chris Vanini from The Athletic is going to join us, talk a little SDSU leaving the Mountain West, sitcom rodeo for those Blink-182 tickets, and Padres problems. Is firing Bob Melvin the solution? We get your texts coming up next.
Hour number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Padres lose another close one in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area, except this time wasn't a walk-off homer. It was a walk-off walk. Josh Hader walking Josh Peterson with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning last night to allow the winning run to score. Padres now 35-38 on the season. Giants have now won 9 straight games. They're flying up the rankings. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 8-6. D-backs lose to the Brewers 7-5. Dodgers take down the Angels 2-0. In the NFL, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill under investigation for assault and battery at a Miami Beach marina where he allegedly hit a marina employee. And in tennis, Venus Williams back at Wimbledon this year after being granted a wild card entry. The 43-year-old, this will be her 24th Wimbledon tournament. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply, and prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Start off easy. Start with the obvious.
This is Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Those goofy bastards are just about the best thing I've got going in this crazy world.
Makes you proud to be an American.
On San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
This is going to be a busy offseason. This won't be the last of these types of reports. I have a feeling we're going to see more. Like San Diego State feels like a domino that has to fall before other dominoes get to fall.
But does it feel like the Pac-12 is the right move?
If I'm JD Wicker, if I'm Adela Della Torre, if I'm looking at this from a I got to be protective San Diego State situation, I want to wait until the Pac-12 has a pretty firm media agreement in place,
Right.
so I know exactly how much we stand to gain by joining the Pac-12.
Now, here are the guys.
Yeah, happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you live on YouTube. Just search us Big Rich, TD, and Fletch in your YouTube search bar and subscribe, like, comment, especially on what we're about to be talking about. You can text the show 70470. Start your message with team, because we are going to be throughout this hour taking your messages on this thought process. Padres, is it time for Bob Melvin to go?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all have our opinions about this. We shared them earlier. We'll share them again here, but we want to hear from you, because the long history of the Padres, the long struggling of the Padres, it's not a unique event to any of us individually. We've all experienced this together. And also for longer or shorter, depending on when you've entered the conversation. Some people, they adopted their fandom from their parents or from their grandparents, or, with an uncle who's taken them to games, where this has been a lifelong struggle.
Right.
For some of you, maybe it's new. Maybe you're new to town and you just hopped on the bandwagon, and the Padres seem pretty good and pretty fun, especially last season.
Right.
But all of a sudden, it's becoming a bit of a slog watching how they're so inept in the regular season, regardless of what happens in the postseason. Maybe you're like me and you've been in San Diego for a decade, and your interest in the Padres have been watching them scrape absolute bottom a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and then seeing them resurge to the tippy top of MLB baseball here, especially in the National League. And the struggle, again, is shared and felt. Where you enter the conversation is almost irrelevant. What they do next is the most relevant thing, because the fans make decisions too.
Yeah. No, you're right. They do. I mean, as they make noise, decisions get made.
Yep.
I mean, that is true, because guess what? It does come down to money. It does. So if you are losing your fan base, you are losing money. That's how it works. And by the way, last year when the Padres had a great run, you had a lot of people who weren't fans, maybe not even fans of baseball, but became fans of the Padres because of the feeling that was sent around the city here, because of what people felt that they were a part of. So there's a lot of disappointment going, oh, wait, so the Padres just aren't that good? It was a fluke last year? No, they should be good. That's the problem. They should be good.
That's the most frustrating part about this season. They've already set the record for most sellouts in franchise history.
Yeah.
Like, they've already done that. We're not even halfway through the season yet. And the fans have showed up this year, and the output on the field has not been what it should be. But the outcry for Bob Melvin to be fired doesn't make sense for me yet. Now, if this season goes down the you-know-what, and they get to the point where they're not going to make the playoffs this year and they're going to miss out on what's going to be a stacked wild card race, changes are going to be made, and it's not just going to be Bob Melvin. I think that's something that needs to be made very clear. Like, that might be AJ Preller as well, because this is his creation. This is his baby. This is his roster that at the very least through this point in the season, we have enough to say this roster is flawed.
Let me stop you there, though. I want to ask you, so you do feel personally, because this is an opinion, it's not a fact, that if this season doesn't result in a playoff run, that the Padres will make changes at the front office level?
Yes. I wholeheartedly believe that, because how could you not? Like, how could you give AJ Preller another chance?
I'll tell you why. Because the same thing that Travis just mentioned, money. Because they just paid AJ Preller a lot of money.
But they're not winning, and they're in the red.
Well,
and that was very easily outlined in Kevin Acey's article a few weeks ago. We talked to him about it. If things need to change, and they need to change probably in a hurry for them to get back into the green and for this experiment to work out.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. But again, if you're not making money, that means you're going to have to spend more by firing AJ Preller. So again, sometimes you do have to cut bait and fish in a different fishing hole. Sometimes you got to give up. But I mean, if they miss the playoffs this season, after making it to the NLCS last season, and then fire AJ Preller, I mean, what that says to me is we're heading into complete rebuild mode. Because unless you hire a new general manager, president of baseball operations, who's going to be like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do exactly what AJ Preller did. Like, he put together this team, and this is going to be my team now. No, that's not how this works. They're going to clean house.
You don't have to go into rebuild mode because you have your stars locked up for the next decade.
No. You can trade away a lot of stars.
Oh yeah, no, without
and that's
doubt.
exactly what a new general manager will do.
If you have Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts,
you think
Joe
all of them
Musgrove,
will survive a regime change? Absolutely not.
I absolutely do think that, because Peter Seidler is the one who signed these checks. Peter Seidler believed in this team too, and so. But if AJ Preller is the one who got it wrong,
a Manchurian candidate, you're going to bring in somebody who's going to just go by the same drumbeat as the general manager you just fired. Because the reason why you're losing is going to be because Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., Machado, Juan Soto, Hader, all these guys failed.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason at all. The reason is because this roster is built in a way where there's no support for those guys. And I'm not saying they've had a good season, because they haven't. Jake Cronenworth's extension is looking really crappy right now because he's had a bad season. Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado have had like career worst seasons. But I don't think that they're the reason. The reason is because the back of the bullpen without your A team is garbage. The reason is the bottom of your lineup without your A team is garbage. Like the Trent Grishams, the guys who are carrying
what about the fact that they don't hit
batting averages like
in scoring position as a team?
It's not just the bottom of the order.
That's a bit. But if you had any sort of talent to supplement the top guy, Fernando Tatis Jr. has been the best player in June in all of baseball. Juan Soto's been hitting.
But talk to me about the fact that they're sub 200 with runners in scoring position.
Who are the runners that are in scoring position? It's Fernando Tatis Jr. and Juan Soto. They're not getting hit in.
The problem I'm seeing is, like, when you throw out the word experiment, we want to see if this experiment can work. This shouldn't be an experiment in my eyes. I mean, you are looking at it's like you're buying a car part. You got a V8 motor and you go, I'm going to buy a turbocharger on this thing. So I'm going to add Bogaerts to it. I'm going to add Juan Soto to it. That turbocharger, on the specs of it, work. It worked over on the other motor. It worked on the other guy's motor. Why isn't it working on mine, other than you go, is this part defective? I mean, do I have to get a new part? Because it should work. It shouldn't be an experiment. And that's where I think it's really frustrating of going,
the experiment isn't the players. The experiment is the Padres are spending money for the first time in the existence of the organization.
No, I got it. That's not true either, because there was a point during AJ Preller's time where they spent money and it failed also.
And that ended within a year.
Well, right. But they spent money and it failed. So my point is this, okay, so you move on from AJ Preller. There isn't going to be a general manager out there who's going to sign up with Peter Seidler who just says, yeah, I'll just do what Preller did, but better. No, they're going to scrap heap a lot of the ideas that Preller had from roster creation standpoint. That's what all regime changes lead to. You clean house in terms of the coaching staff. You clean house in terms of the scouting department. Not always, not everybody, but that's part of it. You'll have some holdovers from the last regime in terms of the roster, but there are going to be trades. You are basically signaling to the fan base, we screwed up. This isn't the guy talking about AJ Preller. If you move on from him and we got to start over, that's a tough pill to swallow after, like you just said and pointed out, selling out Petco Park over the past season, beating their career franchise record in terms of sellouts. I'm telling you, it's too soon to do that, even if they miss the playoffs. But AJ Preller, if this continues, he will be the one holding the bag, and they will have to hit the reset button at some point. We're getting real far down the road. Right now, the question, though, that's percolating on Twitter is, do you move on from Bob Melvin? And to me, that's a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. That's not the problem. Firing Bob Melvin cures nothing short term.
The 859 agrees with you. No clue what Bob Melvin has to do with pitchers not pitching and hitters not hitting. That is the pitching coach and our non-existent hitting coach.
Yeah. Well,
also,
you can blame pitching coaches and hitting coaches, but also it's the players.
Right.
I mean, this is an individual sport at a certain level. Like, it's guys stepping into the batter's box and doing what they're paid to do. And I mean, or
not walking in the walk-off home run. I mean,
that would be nice.
I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
We do need callers, though, because we do have Fall Out Boy tickets that we're going to be giving away here. Fall Out Boy going to be playing North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on July 1st. Tickets and info at livenation.com or call right now, 844-570-1360 if you want to play a little sitcom rodeo for those tickets. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just absolutely frustrating. It's mind-blowing to me.
Well, it's frustrating to everyone to the point where your hands are kind of hovering over the, hey, should we just hit backspace on this whole thing button?
Yeah.
And that's emotion talking. And
reset button.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people saying, like, we need to start from scratch.
But you shouldn't have to start from scratch. That's what I'm trying to say. Like 3 weeks ago, Kevin put out this article and he was exactly right. It's not that you need to scratch the guys who are making a ton of money. You need to supplement them with a couple guys that are making $700,000 a year who are productive. Because right now you have Nolas and Grishams in the lineup who are offering nothing to this team. Literally nothing outside of a good glove from Trent Grisham that are making more money than they should be. And you're not getting any value out of it.
Okay, but hang on. So you're Peter Seidler and this team is up against the salary cap and you have AJ Preller going, hey, we need you to spend more money.
No, less money. Like, you need to get rid of some of these bad contracts that are lingering, which I'm not talking about the top four. I'm not talking about Manny, Tatis, Musgrove, or who am I missing? Bogarts. I'm not talking about those four guys. I am talking about Soto. I'm talking about Hader. I'm talking about the bottom of the lineup guys. And I'm talking about the back of the bullpen guys who aren't producing, who are still making $1.6, $1.7 million a year.
Yeah,
those are the guys that probably need to go, and you need to supplement them either with youth from your program, youth you get from dealing Soto and Hader, and get some guys in who are making less than $1 million a year, who can bat 275, who can throw with an ERA of 2.5.
But hang on,
anybody batting 275?
I agree with that. The point I was disagreeing with you was about if you fire AJ Preller, like you were just talking about. Your thought process is a new general manager or president of baseball operations is going to come in.
Is going to keep the core.
Well, that's not guaranteed, Ben. That's not. You're acting like you know what the thoughts or the mind or the heart of the next GM who walks through the door is going to be, or Peter Seidler's for that matter, because change brings change. It's not going to be like somebody's going to walk in and be like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to do it the way AJ Preller did. We're just going to sprinkle in some differences. Sometimes it's going to be wholesale changes. Sometimes it is going to be moving contracts that are uncomfy for the fan base at first, but then the hope is that you're going to be able to regrow what you've torn down. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, again, anybody who's cheering on big changes with this program, you could potentially spiral this team if you make some of those big changes into some dark days ahead, as opposed to riding the wave. Look, this isn't a comfy ride. This has been terrible through the last 2 regular seasons. But if you can ride that wave and you can find safe purchase at some point in the playoffs again, maybe they go on a little bit of run and all of this feels like, arguing into the wind.
Yeah, the bummer is we've been saying they need to go on a little bit of a run for almost half the season now.
Yeah.
So that's where it's getting really frustrating. Also in April, as Ben, you're like, they need to spend less money. In April, we were literally talking about building a statue and having a parade.
I'm not saying they
because
need to
of the
spend less
amount of money they're spending.
I'm saying they're in the red right now. So if the Padres want to survive past a few years from now, like, changes need to be made. They're not going to keep this pace up.
Yeah,
but hang on a second.
Win. If you win, they'll get out of the red.
By the way, look, I love Peter Seidler. But when the pandemic hit and all these owners were crying poverty, we had this discussion. This isn't real, right? These guys can afford it. Baseball is a very profitable sport. Don't complain to me about your profit margins being too slim. You're a professional baseball owner. I don't care. I'm a fan. And guess what? There's a lot of season ticket holders who are at those ballpark watching bad baseball in the regular season who also don't care. They just want to see wins. And so, I mean, it almost feels offensive to say like, hey, we're going to upcharge you on ticket prices. We're going to do all these things to make ourselves whole. And then we're going to come out with hat in hand saying, please, sir, can I have some more? More? Like, I mean, this is ridiculous. We're not talking about Oliver Twist. We're talking about Peter Seidler.
It's a different argument. That was during the pandemic when owners were literally crying poor. We're talking about Peter Seidler now, but we're also talking about Eric Grupner, who's on the record saying that we cannot continue like this.
Yeah, that's what he's paid to do, to be the mouthpiece for Peter Seidler, who's an owner in Major League Baseball, who's making billions of dollars doing so, along with all the other owners in this conglomeration we call the MLB.
Guess what? That also throws that headline on a newspaper, so the coaching staff and the front office staff can walk in to that locker room and go, you see this?
Yeah.
This is where we're at. If we don't change, it's over.
Changes are coming here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a motivation piece.
But
Look,
then what are you arguing then? Because that's what he's saying. Changes will happen if they continue like this.
Yeah. And my point is the players need to play better. I'm saying I don't want to see changes. I'm saying I want to see these guys who are getting paid a lot of money play better baseball, because I think that's the only thing that makes this better in the short term. Firing AJ Preller is not going to make this better in the short term. It'll make it a lot worse for us fans in the short term. I can promise you that. It's going to get darker before it gets lighter, and it could be for years. We've already experienced that. We just got out of that. I mean, we're supposed to be in the winning window. We want to go right back into the depths, the basement of MLB, waiting for our next resurgence. That sucks.
Well, that's the hypothetical, right? If they don't win. Like, that's what I'm saying.
So
AJ Preller would need to go.
Again, yes, hypothetically, if they don't win. But you were talking about after this season.
Yeah, if they lose in this season.
So get rid of AJ Preller is your point, and that's what I'm arguing against, because that sends you into those dark times. After one season, went to the NLCS, had missed the postseason, and then fire AJ Preller, we're right back where we started. I'm not saying I'm a huge AJ Preller fan. This hasn't worked great. They got to the NLCS last year, which was great, but the regular seasons make me nervous. It makes all of Padres fans nervous.
Yeah.
But if they miss the postseason, I'm not ready to be banging the drum to fire AJ Preller, because again, that puts you right back to the bottom. They're going to then sell off parts. They're going to restock the farm. They're going to start over, and I'm not ready to do that yet. That's my personal opinion.
But it brings you back to the original point you made, is sometimes fans help make those decisions. And if fans are calling for some kind of change, there probably will need to be some kind of change. Some head will have to roll somewhere.
Yeah. And by the way, most likely, just to let everybody know, just so we're all on the same page, that head will be Bob Melvin.
That is correct.
And again, what does that solve? I don't think very much.
So AJ Preller would get to hire a fourth manager?
Yep. That's what they'll do.
That seems asinine to me. 35-38 on the year so far, 89 games left in the season. To get to 89 wins, which maybe they only need 86, but to get to 89, they would need to go 54-35, 19 games over 500 the rest of the way.
Well, I mean, even if we're trying to get to 86, 51-38, they got to go 16 over 500. I mean, it's still a tall order.
We're a long way from home.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a long way from home. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that I'm all that optimistic right now, but I will say this: the Giants are on a 9-game heater.
Yeah.
Why not us?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Giants came out of nowhere in the NL West. Why not us? The Padres, look, the season isn't over. The problem is when you're struggling this long this way with this sort of talent, it feels like the season's over.
Well,
but the sky isn't falling yet.
No, it's not. It's just where you start to get nervous is when you start to look further down the season. If things stayed where they're at, or maybe just got slightly better than where they're at, and you get down to, there's only 25 games left. Oh man, we got to win 20 of those 25, now it starts to get real dicey.
This was a really fun conversation. So we will stave off doing sitcom rodeo because we're running up against the clock, and we want to make room for Chris Vanini joining us next.
You want to know what the
his
619
article.
has to say?
Yeah, what do we got?
Get rid of Melvin. Everyone hates him.
Yeah, listen, again, that's fine. They can. It solves nothing.
I agree.
I mean,
Getting rid of Melvin right now would be the dumbest move you can make.
getting rid of AJ Preller, even if this season is a failure, an abject failure, I promise you it's not going to be a comfy ride after that.
Well,
so buckle up. If this goes poorly, I'm telling you, and big changes do need to come to this team, this could get rough real fast.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I am with you guys on all of it. I think what it does solve, though, if you got rid of Melvin, is, I mean, to me, it feels like a lot more than half the fan base want to see a change, and they want to see it right now.
Yeah.
And that solves that problem, but it doesn't solve the winning problem at all.
The only thing it may change is psychology.
Yeah.
Because if the clubhouse really likes Bob Melvin, and because of their poor play, the players' poor play, they get him fired. Well, all of a sudden, who's the common denominator now? They've got rid of Bob Melvin, so it's up to you guys. Like there's no more shielding you. We're going to bring in somebody or move somebody up the bench, and now it comes down to, can you guys play? Because if not, one of you might have to get gone.
Right.
In terms of trade or cutting roster, salary, whatever it may be.
And he's also the shield for Preller.
Yeah, well, Matt, but trust me, he's used to, AJ Preller's used to Operation Human Shield. We've seen it 3 times already. He's had 3 managers. You forget when he came in, he made way for Andy Green, and then he made way for Jace Tingler, and then he made way for Bob Melvin. So he's on his 4th manager already. This will be his 5th.
How many GMs have been able to hire another one?
A 5th manager? I'm going to say 0 over the past 20 years. I'm going to say 0.
But you think it's going to happen here?
What, that he's going to be able to?
Yeah.
Most likely. Yeah. That's my personal opinion, because again, hitting the restart button, it could spiral this team into a place where we just were,
or they go on one of those 9-game runs. Things turn around. All of a sudden they're in the postseason. They make some hay. I mean, things start working and nothing changes.
Yeah. I mean, again, the regular season seems so consequential, but it's June 21st. We'll see if we're talking the same way September 30th.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot can change in that time. Okay, real quick. If you haven't been to the Catamaran Hotel and Spa, you need to get out there, because they have amenities for kids. Like if you're a family and you're looking for a place for a staycation here in San Diego, you got to get down there. The lobby, just the lobby is amazing. They got waterfalls cascading over these mountains into a koi pond. They got the parrots in a little bird sanctuary on your walking path to the pool. And they have these sunset luau's. From now until September 1st, on Tuesdays and Fridays, you can go down there and enjoy an awesome Polynesian event, Hawaiian food, luau, torch performers. It's incredible. You got to get to catamaranluau.com to book yours today. I just did this with the family. The kids had a blast. We all left stuff. The food is great. Catamaranluau.com. And coming up next, Chris Vanini, The Athletic, to talk about San Diego State's departure from the Mountain West.
Is San Diego State leaving the Mountain West or not? We'll speak with Chris Vanini from The Athletic coming up next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres lose another close one in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area last night, except this time it wasn't a walk-off homer, it was a walk-off walk, as Josh Hader walked Jock Peterson in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases loaded, allowing the winning run to score. Padres now 35-38 on the year. Giants have won 9 straight. They flying up the division rankings. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 8-6. D-backs losing to the Brewers 7-5. Dodgers took down the Angels 2-0. In the NFL, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill under investigation for assault and battery at a Miami Beach marina. Allegedly, he hit a marina employee. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We do still have those Fall Out Boy tickets we're going to be giving away here a little later. They're going to be at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on Saturday, July 1st. You can get tickets at info at livenation.com or just keep listening for your chance to win. Meanwhile, here close to home, San Diego State University, leaving the Mountain West or not?
Yeah, the question that is right at the beginning of this article that we all read yesterday here on the show from Chris Vanini of The Athletic is San Diego State leaving the Mountain West or not? I'd love to hear his opinion. We're calling him right now to discuss this, but outlined in the article is the things that have transpired per reports between San Diego State and the conference they currently reside in, the Mountain West, and the potentiality for joining the Pac-12 and the potentiality for this team, this athletic department to finally rise up to the Power 5 ranks. So joining us on the air, Chris Vanini, to discuss. And Chris, we just mentioned it. We all read the article, really well written, really curious your thoughts on exactly what happens next. So San Diego State, Mountain West or not, here and into the future.
Well, I think the options here are you mend fences and convince the Mountain West to let you stay in the conference, only for you to potentially leave not long after, or you take the risk and you do the 1-year buyout without a place set, and you hope that the Pac-12 has a good enough deal and a good enough conference that you get a worthy invitation within the next year. I think those are the real options. I don't think San Diego State necessarily wanted to put itself in that spot, but the Mountain West reacted aggressively, not wanting to just be a holding spot or give preferential treatment, and now we're in a bit of a standoff.
Chris, whose move is it next? Does it SDSU? Is it the Pac-12? Is it the Big 12? Who should make the next move?
Well, the Mountain West deferred comment to San Diego State, so they seem to feel like it's their move to make next, which is to either admit that they're leaving the conference now, or convince the conference that they're not, and that it's worth them staying around. I imagine the lawyers are in a lot of discussions right now. I know presidents and other people are on vacation right now. They're probably getting roped into some calls, perhaps. But we've got about 9 days away from that June 30th deadline before probably a final decision needs to be made.
Chris, an idea that was kind of thrown around here a little bit yesterday was, what if the Aztecs went independent for a season? What would that look like for them, and would that be a mistake?
That would be extremely difficult for a West Coast team, for all your sports. I mean, San Diego State's going to be in the Mountain West next year, no matter what happens. So, like, obviously, they're not leaving now; they're leaving a year from now. So you have to give a 1-year notice. But say that year goes by and you don't end up anywhere, and you want to go independent or something. It's difficult to be an independent West Coast team because there's just not that many schools nearby you. It's a lot easier to be independent, in the South or in the out East or something like that. So I don't think that's ideal for anybody, for any of the sports, especially football scheduling would be difficult considering, everybody's pretty much wrapped up their 2024 schedules by now. So not an ideal situation, but it's also not something that would happen this year.
So this is known, and it's written in your article, that San Diego State doesn't appear to have a formal Pac-12 invitation as of yet. Has that ship sailed, though, for this year? And if not, what, in your opinion, needs to happen on the Pac-12's end for them to be able to offer an invitation to San Diego State? And again, understanding that it won't be for this upcoming season, it'll be an invite for the 2024 season and beyond.
Well, the first thing that needs to happen for any conference realignment is the Pac-12 media deal. That's kind of like the finger in the dam holding everything right now. And the Pac-12 has indicated for a while that it would do media deal first, expansion second. And so we wait. This was something they thought might be done in December. And instead it's been pushed back and back and back. And suddenly it got pushed up against San Diego State's timeline. I don't think, when we looked at last year, early this year, when San Diego State was rightfully feeling very good about itself and its future prospects, I don't think anybody really expected the deal to drag all the way to that June 30th 1-year exit fee deadline. And so we got to see what the Pac-12 media deal is. Is it good enough to keep the 10 schools together? And if it is, does the Pac-12 send out one invitation or two or none or whatever? Or if it's not a great deal and they lose Colorado and Arizona to the Big 12, do the other 8 stay together or do more defect? And I think that's the primary thing with the Pac-12 is media rights deal and keeping its members. And once that's done, then you expand. And so San Diego State's just kind of been waiting for a while for it to happen, a lot longer than anybody expected.
Talking with Chris Vanini from The Athletic. And Chris, as we're digging deeper and deeper into this, I kind of start to think, where should SDSU go? In your opinion, what do you think the best case scenario is for SDSU?
Best case scenario is the Pac-12, Pac-10 or whatever stays together at 10. It gets a deal that's comparable to the Big 12. The 10 schools stay together. San Diego State joins that, becomes a very good and temporarily stable Power 5 conference again. You don't really want to join the Big 12 if you don't have to. Traveling out to UCF, to Cincinnati, to West Virginia, it's going to be a real pain to constantly have to do that. You'd rather be West Coast focused. That's obviously where a lot of, the alumni and everything is based. So that's the ideal situation is the Pac-12 stays together and is in good shape and you get the invitation there. If that doesn't happen, Big 12 is probably a better option than staying in the Mountain West, but first choice, I think, is Pac-12.
So in order for everything to stay together with the Pac-12, they're going to need a media rights deal. And you said it yourself. That's the finger in the dam that's holding everything up here. What is this media deal going to look like? Is it going to be a streaming only package? Is it going to have anywhere near the weight or the reach that the Big 12 media deal has on it?
I think it's clear that nobody knows, and that includes some of the university presidents, because some of them have said, hey, a deal's coming in a couple of weeks or end of the month or whatever, and then the end of the month comes and it doesn't happen. So we don't know. Nobody knows. We don't know how much of it's going to be streaming. You don't know how much ESPN's going to pay. You don't know if Apple's involved or if Ion or the CW or these other channels are taking part of it. We don't know yet. I think it is worth noting, though, that the Big 12 deal was below market value. And the move the Big 12 made was to sign a quick deal favorable to ESPN and Fox for the sake of security, which was a good move. But I think you'll notice this fall and moving forward just how much Big 12 is on streaming, ESPN Plus. There is a lot of that, especially the first couple weeks of the football season. So it's a deal. It's a deal, and right now the Pac-12 doesn't have a deal, and that's why the Big 12 is in a better situation. But it's still obviously nowhere close to what the Big 10 or the ACC are. It's also not at the same level as the ACC, which has its long-term deal for the time being. So the Big 12 got its security, but there are some costs that come along with that.
Talking with Chris Vanini, the Athletic college football writer, this morning on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on San Diego State, potentially leaving the Mountain West here in the short term or long term. We don't know when exactly this is going to happen, what's going to happen next. We are very close to this story, and we're aware that there are certain bias that we possess, being the flagship for San Diego State athletics, close to the coaches, close to the athletic department. So from the national perspective, how is this all perceived? How is San Diego State, the run they just went on in the tournament this past March, the college football program, with the success they've had over the past decade, is this very newsworthy, in your opinion, in the grander scheme of college football and college sports?
Yeah, I think San Diego State has proven itself over the last 10 years to be a real power. I mean, they lead the country, I think, in win percentage in football and men's basketball since like 2010 or something like that. I mean, this is a athletic department that has just been among the best in the country for a while now. And the run to the national championship game in basketball finally cemented that as a real thing. And so the value went up for sure when USC and UCLA left for the Big Ten, opening up one last spot for a flag in Southern California that the Pac-12 wants, that the Big 12 probably would want if it's available too. And they've done a really good job there over the last couple of decades to use athletics as a way to elevate the school, to build the new stadium, the football stadium, everything that's coming there this summer, and all the big events. San Diego State has done a really good job of preparing for this moment to get that Power 5 invitation and move up to another level. We just don't exactly know when that's going to happen.
Chris, awesome stuff. Always appreciate your time. Great article. We shared it on our Twitter, so I suggest everybody go check it out. The Athletic, Chris Vanini. Thanks for your time this morning.
Yep, thanks for having me.
There it goes. So we know it's going to happen eventually. We just don't know when this jump is going to be made.
Yeah,
man, it's just a little frustrating right now to be a sports fan in San Diego.
Pac-12 needs to get their stuff together.
Yeah,
right. And so what he was saying about the Big 12, where maybe they took a lesser deal to get it immediate and get it secure for the long-term future, it seems like that's the right move. Where it seems like the Pac-12 maybe is holding out for more money.
Well, and as you say, Pac-12 needs to get their stuff together. I'm sure part of that was, like you said, these media deals going, well, hey, we got to have SDSU on board here before we're going to sign up to anything. So Pac-12 goes to SDSU and says, hey, we need some sort of movement on your end.
And maybe that was the letter
sent, and that could be it. That could be the domino that falls.
Oh my gosh, that is frustrating stuff. But you know what isn't? Good steak at a great restaurant. And we have to talk to you about our new favorite steakhouse.
That's right. We're talking about the Remy out in Mission Valley.
The Remy, our favorite place. I'm bringing a group of 8 dudes there next month. It's a fine dining experience that offers incredible menu featuring premium American Wagyu meat cuts, seafood, crafted cocktails, both new and old world wines.
Yeah, contemporary American classics with Western grit and a modern twist. And I got to tell you, I mean, I know we all experienced it. As soon as you pull into the driveway, you start to feel like, oh, this is a good place to be. You walk in that front door, the big oversized oak door, giant handle, whole thing swings open, and you walk in and go, yep, this is right.
Daddy's home.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, can you tell me about the cows?
Yeah, I can. It's American Wagyu, completely grass-fed. and it's out in Whitefish, Montana, is where they source their meat. The range is family owned and it's operated by fifth generation ranchers. And what they do is they take Japanese bulls, okay, Wagyu bulls,
Okay.
and they mate them with New Jersey cows.
Wow.
And they make the delicious meat that you're going to enjoy over at the Remy. I mean, that is probably my favorite part of the story. I know sometimes that turns people off, but I am very turned on by that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Is
I get
turned
it.
on the right word,
Yeah.
or is hungry the right word?
Turned on is the exact word. I'm sitting right next to him, folks.
The steak is awesome. Almost as awesome as the cocktails. Remember our guy Ken behind the bar kind of walking us through everything. We had the old fashioned, we had the gold rush.
Oh, I had the duck hunt.
The duck hunt. Travis, what was your first one?
I can't remember.
No,
but
it was the Hotel
beautiful.
Nacional.
Oh yeah, it was that.
Oh,
Yes.
the Hotel Nacional special.
Right.
that's
And then
correct.
Richie had the paper plane also that you made on a bar car
And then
Friday
we
one
had
time.
espresso martinis
Oh
for
my
dessert.
God.
God, they were so good.
I had two of those. And Travis broke a
I
cup.
broke a glass.
You did break a cup.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, also you don't want to forget their extensive wine list, vintage bottles. They provide something for everyone and every occasion.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's uniquely decorated. Our boy Frank, he did the whole place himself. Decorated to look like a Western outfitted, dark wood accents. You got the leather plush benches and seats. It's amazing. The place is just perfectly outfitted for your private events or for your dinners or your night out with the girlfriend, the old lady, the wife, the fiance. It's fun.
Because not only are you going to impress your date, impress your family, impress yourself with a fantastic meal, but it's kind of an experience to go.
Yeah.
So it's a
Bring
lot of fun.
everyone you know. Book your reservation now, theremysd.com. I just did it. Super easy. Book your reservation now at theremysd.com.
Okay, that's good business. This next story, though, is it bad business or is it smart business? We discuss. Is he whining or is he right? We'll explain next. Feel like golfing. We haven't golfed in a while. After watching the U.S. Open, I was there on Saturday up in L.A. walking that course. I realized when's the last time we went golfing? Was it up?
No,
Was it by your place? What's the
last
golf?
time?
What's the golf course by Valley Center?
Native Oaks.
Native Oaks.
Yeah.
Native Oaks. That
Native
was the
Oaks.
last. No, that wasn't the last time. Was that the last time?
The last time was Steel Canyon.
with Aaron.
Yeah, but we
But before that,
But
we
Native
went
Oaks is dope.
Yeah, Native
Oh.
Oaks is awesome.
I drive by it every single day.
Remember
at
that-
least twice a day.
The day we got out there was like week 2 of the new carts.
Oh yeah.
So we got to break those bad boys in.
Yes, and I almost crashed mine with Jim Sheen from Sales. You remember Jim came out with us?
Sandbagger. Remember
Uh,
after the round, he was like, I shot an 86, not a very good day. And then he redid his score. He shot a 76.
Yeah, I redid my score and I shot a 76. I mean, what do you mean redid your score?
We call that pencil whipping for you. For Jim, he actually did shoot well, but Eric Julian came out, the pro out there. He came out and watched us on the last green, the 18th green. And he was like, no. He was like, you guys, you look like you know your way around the course. I almost killed him. I hit my ball and it fired past his face into the brambles.
Dude, that always happens when someone you want to impress is watching you golf.
He was like,
The worst shot ever is coming.
yeah, dude. I was like, listen, Eric, we got to get those terrace. Now watch this chip. And then it was just like right by his face. He's like, okay, well, he got a hold of it. But you were only 2 feet from the green.
Well,
So
They had good food, too.
I will tell you, oh my gosh. Okay. I may or may not go to Sawi Kitchen a couple times a month just to get a burger to
we
go.
need to go. We need to go.
Yeah, we do.
I've got a hankering for those burgers. We need to go.
The
We're
place
going.
actually does look
We're going.
beautiful as you drive by.
I'm looking for
it is
tomorrow.
it is dialed in.
You know who might have a lot of time to play
Looking
golf
for
this
tea
fall?
times for tomorrow?
He's on the website.
You brought it up.
Yeah,
Well-
Ben is never far from a golf website to book a tee time.
Everything's bookmarked.
The guy who might be playing golf this fall is Josh Jacobs, who has yet to sign his tender for the franchise tag he's been slapped with out there in Las Vegas. The league leader in rushing last year seems pissed that he got franchise tagged.
Yeah. Just on Twitter,
Yeah.
2 words: bad business.
He's also retweeted an article defending Josh Jacobs and stating that he should be paid more by Jim Trottier.
Jim
And
Trotter?
no, different Jim. I thought so too. I was like, did he just French up his last name? No, it's a guy named Jim Trottier.
He'd be getting a text if he Frenched up his last name.
Oh yeah, by us. We'd be like, hey Jim, who you trying to fool? But it's a different writer, covers the Raiders and was making the case for Josh Jacobs, who should have gotten broken off in this writer's opinion. And Jacobs, clearly a fan of this article, retweeted it to all of his followers. So yeah, it's one of these situations in the league right now. Saquon Barkley looks like he potentially could hold out from the New York Giants after getting tagged. I don't know if Tony Pollard signed his. I haven't heard much fuss out there in Dallas, but you have this Josh Jacobs story. You got a lot of running backs who are pissed that their pay is being suppressed.
Are they talking to each other and kind of coming up with a little bit of a coordinated attack? Because you listen to Dalvin Cook on Shefty's podcast, you see tweets like this from Josh Jacobs. You've heard, at least early on, we heard a little bit from Tony Pollard. Do you think that Saquon Barkley has been very vocal? Are they talking to each other
Not
and
necessarily.
maybe trying to throw out similar messages?
I don't know if you need to talk to each other. You just hear one person speak and then you go, yeah, that sounds right. And then you say the same thing. And then now you got a couple people talking. And so the third person goes, I like the way that sounds. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of social media momentum happening.
Mhm.
Like
Kind of
where-
started with Eckler, right?
Yeah.
When he said he wasn't going to sign the Chargers deal.
and it wasn't even signed the Chargers deal. He was just asking for a trade. He has one more year left on the deal he's
Right.
currently on, and so he was trying to force his way out of LA.
Unless they tweaked it, which they ended up tweaking it.
Yeah, they
a
gave
little bit.
him some incentives, a little bit of a bonus taste on the back end of his contract, which, by the way, okay, so you make a little noise, you make a little extra money, not a bad way to do business. And that's what it feels like all these guys are doing. And to your point, you see one running back do it, and all of a sudden you go, well, what about me?
Mhm.
I
I'm
think there's a little
imagining
more
them-
room on this payroll for me.
Like they're the 300 Spartans going against the Persians of how 10,000 people, right? They're like trying to put up a last stand for the running back position to still make a little bit of money in this league because the league's going away from it. Colin did like a 15-minute rant yesterday about the fact that you can go get someone in the 6th round who's going to be just as effective as any of your starting who are asking for $15 million a year.
I love that you just compared this to the Battle of Thermopylae.
You're welcome.
Because all I'm picturing now is brave King Leonidas of the Spartans with his painted on abs.
You mean Gerard Butler, who was like 40 pounds overweight for that movie, and they spray painted on an 8-pack?
Absolutely
That's
awesome.
fine. I would do that.
Yeah, when we go golfing, I want you guys to find a place that will spray paint on abs. And I'm playing topless the entire round.
Okay.
That is.
We don't need to find a place. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
Travis could do stencils.
I have an airbrush.
You know what? I trust him.
I do have an airbrush.
Of course, he has an
100%
airbrush.
I have
He
an
has a
airbrush.
damn fog machine. He brought it to the Jam Center at San Diego
Why
State
wouldn't I
for
have
the
an
hard.
airbrush?
And by the way, also we have the Hardwood and Balls Classic trophy in our office now.
J-Riff,
What?
he mounted the thing.
He put the plaque on it.
He did? You got a new placard?
He got
Did
the
he
plaque.
peel off the old one?
No, it's
Oh.
right underneath. It's perfectly centered. The 2023 Hardwood and Balls champ.
Wow.
Maybe we'll play him in golf next year.
He doesn't golf, so
You
I
know
would
what?
love that.
I'm going to reprint it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put our names on it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that better. Okay, coming up next, Bob Melvin. Should he stay or should he go? Also, we got to play Sitcom Rodeo for Fallout Boy tickets. So much ahead. Big Rich,
Danny
Kitty, and
Vietti.
Fletch. Oh, and Danny Vietti, our buddy. Danny Vietti is going to join us on the stream. So head over to YouTube right now, type in Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and catch that live. That's next.
It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Padres lose another close one in walk-off fashion against the Giants. This time, wasn't a walk-off home run, wasn't even a walk-off single. It was a walk-off walk. Josh Hader walking Jock Peterson in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases loaded, allowing the winning run to score. Padres now 35-38 on the year. Giants have actually won 9 straight games. They're flying up rankings everywhere. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 8-6, D-backs lose to the Brewers 7-5, Dodgers take down the Angels 2-0. Over in the NFL, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill under investigation for assault and battery at a Miami Beach marina. And in tennis, Venus Williams back at Wimbledon this year. She's being granted a wild card entry. It'll be, her 24th Wimbledon. The 43-year-old going to compete once again. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate a hump day here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Real important stuff happening here in the studio.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay. I brought in candy today and I forgot to share it earlier, so we just started eating high chews. Do you want one of these?
I'm all right.
Okay, I'm going to give you 7 of them. Hang on.
What's crazy is in that 4-minute break, it started out with us discussing what we were going to be doing at 10 o'clock and what we were going to have to be wearing. Unfortunately, Ben Fletcher, what you'll be wearing is not going to be safe for work. Just a heads up.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. It's going to be real bad. And then
Am I taking off my pants too, or just my shirt?
everything's coming off, buddy.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Everything's coming
We're
off.
sorry. And actually, we're going to buy the last piece of the attire for you. I have to make a quick trip out.
I don't know if they're open this early, but
Dude,
we're going
I'm
to cross our
not
fingers.
wearing a banana hammock again.
Oh no, that's
No, this will be much more tasteful.
Yeah.
You are gonna love this.
It's gonna wear it on your face, by the way.
And then we got to talking about. He was like, "Hey, why did you bring in candy?" And I was like, "Oh, because I'm gonna shoot a video later." Dude, these are delicious. Have you ever had these?
Oh yeah,
You've had them?
yeah. I worked at a grocery store in college.
You're shooting a high chew video?
Were they already? Yeah, I think I am. Were they already? Were they already in stores? Oh wait, when you were in college. Yeah. Okay. Because I got introduced to these about a decade ago when Ann was doing travel in Asia. She would come home with these high chews, and dude, I would crush them. She came home from South Korea one time with like 3 packs of them. I thought it was gum. And so I'm just sitting there chewing. I'm like, I'm just swallowing gum, I thought. And she goes, no, they're supposed to be. It's candy, you idiot. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, these are amazing. I finished every time she came home. Well, anyways, I'm so glad that they're selling them in the States now. So
I like the green apple.
the green apples are really good. It tastes like a Granny Smith apple. Try the pineapple next. That's my favorite right now. It does change.
I just opened up the kiwi and it kind of looked like kiwi. It had little like spots in there, like seeds.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
they nailed it.
There's something special about
You should have
this.
filmed this spot right here.
Well, maybe one day
Yeah.
I will. We'll get around to it. Okay. Danny Vietti, I almost said Chris Vanini again. He joined us earlier to talk about San Diego State departure from the Mountain West, or potential departure. That's going to be up on our podcast at iHeart. Check out the app there. And also go to YouTube, type in Big Rich, TD, and Fletch if you want to see us live, faces in our places, where every day we are going to be streaming live on YouTube, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch there. Subscribe, like, all those things. Danny Vietti, CBS Sports, is going to join us to talk about the Padres, and we've been discussing this at length today. And so your contributions we're interested in hearing from you. We're really curious your thoughts on this, and it's been the question of the day. What do the Padres do about Bob Melvin? Because all of a sudden it's been suggested on Twitter a lot that he's the problem and he needs to be fired. So again, 70470, start your text with team if you want to text the show. Comment on YouTube. Tweet us at Big Rich TD Fletch. Anywhere you can get at us, we want to hear from you, because I think the 3 of us feel like that's not going to be the fix.
Well, A, it's not going to happen. And B, what does that really solve? Because if Bob Melvin's out, you're probably promoting someone from within Bob Melvin's staff to take over the managerial role. And what is that really going to solve? Ultimately, be better, Padres. You have the roster to be better. Just be better.
No, you're right. I mean, you are right on all fronts. I think the only thing it solves is it quiets the fans who are calling for some kind of change and looking for a head to roll somewhere. I mean, they want to see something happen here. I just don't see how you would do it before the season's over. I don't see how you just call it right now.
Well, this text just came in from the 619. Get rid of Melvin. Everyone hates him. Okay.
That's been the sentiment, man. Like, people are upset, and I understand why you're upset. You should be. Like, this team should not be 35-38 and have to win 20 games over 500 the rest of the way to maybe sneak out a wild card spot. Like, that should not be what's happening here in San Diego, but it is what it is. That's where you are right now. Bob Melvin probably gives you the best chance to go 20 over 500 the rest of the way. And I honestly believe that.
We also just got this message from your brother, Ben. Can you guys do a Taco Bell trip and time it? This is boring. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's not a Padres fan.
Yeah. The older Fletcher brother is not a Padres fan, so this may not tickle his fancy, but Taco Bell tickles everyone's fancy.
We need that Taco Bell to open up, by the
It
way.
looks like it's getting
Dude,
close.
it's getting
so
real
close.
They
Yeah.
they redid the signs, dude. Yeah, I get really excited about stuff like that.
I love me some Taco Bell.
Dude, are they open? Yeah, they are open for breakfast.
Taco Bell?
They have Pete Davidson's on a big Taco Bell breakfast.
Guess which
it's
drive-through
Peter
we're timing
Davidson.
next.
Oh yeah, it's Peter
Davidson in the morning.
That's correct.
It's Peter Davidson
In the morning.
for
Yeah,
the
that's the spot,
commercials.
the spot.
Oh, son of a beast! Thing.
Uh-huh,
Come on,
uh-huh.
come
Look,
on, Pete. Pistol Pete.
But I can still get like a burrito supreme in breakfast time, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're damn right.
I'll tell you what, I really
Actually, I
like.
don't know if that's true, but I hope so.
The spicy potato soft taco really tickles my belly.
I'm going to tell you the best thing you can do. The cheesy gordita crunch. Tell them to put extra spicy ranch on it. So whatever sauce they put on the cheesy gordita crunch,
in between the hard and soft shell,
it is. I just got the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. It is so delicious that I'm having a physical reaction right now.
At Del Taco right now,
Go
they
on.
have these carnitas tacos.
Yeah.
And then they're a soft taco, and then it's got the quesadilla on the outside of it.
Is there a Del Taco nearby?
there's
Is
one
there?
close to my apartment, which in turn is close to this office.
I mean, right now I would roundhouse kick a toddler
also know what's
for
crazy?
that carnitas, whatever the hell
Dude,
quesadilla thing.
Del Taco has such good French fries.
They have what?
They have like the best French fries.
Yes, they do.
It doesn't make
the
sense.
crinkle cut fries.
Have
Have you had their burgers?
Yes, I've had their burgers.
Oh,
They're really
big-
good.
I'm a big Del Taco fan.
I know there's one near the sports arena. How fast can we get there?
Dude, there's one closer than that. There's one right off the 8, kind of near the Remy, actually.
It doesn't. It
Oh.
doesn't. Oh, near the Remy. Oh yeah, near the Remy. I
Oh,
see
yeah,
that.
like
one.
Hotel Circle in that area.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why does it say it's closed?
Well,
Because
maybe
they might not open till 10.
I was gonna say
Del
maybe the
Taco?
breakfast time is later.
They have breakfast burrito. They have like the best breakfast burritos
Oh,
for
yes.
69 cents.
Aren't they? Which is the one that's? Is it Del Taco Green Burrito? Did they merge? Is that the thing, or is
No,
it
Green Burrito was
Pollo
they're
Loco?
owned by Carl's Jr.
Danny's here.
Oh, Danny's on.
He's here.
Okay.
Oh, hey,
all right.
let's
Hey,
talk to him about Del
Danny.
Taco.
What's up, Danny? Danny Vietti joining us, CBS Sports. We somehow started with, hey, should the Padres fire Bob Melvin? And we got off on the fast food drive-through path. And here we are now with you, my friend. How are you doing this morning?
Good. I expect nothing less from this crew. I love it.
Danny, you ever make it to a Del Taco?
Not a fan. If you're
not a fan.
if you're a Mexican restaurant and the best item on the menu is an American food, I question that.
And it's technically a French food.
Yeah, French fries. Or
Touche.
at least, sometimes I call them freedom fries, Danny.
Wait. Maybe
Yeah.
he's talking about the Double Del Burger. Are you talking about the Double Del Burger, Danny?
I was talking about the French food, but if your second best item on the menu is an American burger, again, I question what you're doing with your operation.
Listen,
I hate that I
it's-
agree with that point
it's
a little bit.
twin kitchen. It's a twin kitchen.
Okay. Now you're starting to make an argument. Danny, your reaction.
Danny, Padre fans want to fire Bob Melvin.
So, wait. We didn't get to the cheese at Del Taco, where it's like it is like the most finely shredded cheese
Tell
ever
him
on
about
planet
the
Earth.
cheese, Travis.
Listen, the cheese made from cows from New York, and they made them with cows. in Japan.
We just talked about animal husbandry earlier. This has been a weird show, Danny, so we're going to ask you to class it up a little bit. Although it's gotten classy is never how you describe Twitter in general, but especially recently on Padres Twitter, it's gotten dark. These past two losses in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area have really grated nerves, and people are like, that's it. Get rid of Bob Melvin. He's the problem. It's like that Taylor Swift song. What's your take on this whole thing?
Everybody's going to overreact on Twitter, right? That's what Twitter's going to do. My case would be Bob Melvin's not the one hitting a $197 with runners in scoring position this year. Now, Bob Melvin is the person putting the order together, and he is the person putting the guys in the lineup who are being put into those situations. So he does deserve some blame. But at the end of the day, these players just aren't performing. You expect those numbers with runners in scoring position to kind of go back to the average at some point. Right now, they're still on pace for below the Mendoza line, which no team in MLB history has ever done. No team has ever hit below the Mendoza line with runners in scoring position for an entire season. And right now they're at 197 still. The numbers are not good. I personally put 95% of the blame on the players, particularly that second bottom part of the lineup, your Trent Grishams, your Jake Cronenworth, and the other 5% probably goes to Bo Mel.
Danny, what do you think happens, though? I mean, do you think that that someone in the higher up ranks pulled the trigger here and heads roll somewhere?
I'd be shocked. The amount of money that they have given Bob Melvin kind of puts a wrinkle in things, too. Right now, he's well-respected among the players. He's well-respected among the league. Again, I just don't think it's a managerial thing. I think if anybody's, I would argue that the seat is hotter for AJ Preller than it is for Bob Melvin. And that's not me saying that Preller's gone. That's me saying that these last round of guys hasn't worked out magically yet. You go back to 2015 with Justin Upton, Middlebrooks, Kimbrel. That didn't work out, and it didn't quite work out in 2020 with that round. Here we are in 2023 with the Soto round. And, it's early. There's still time to turn it around here, but I would argue that Preller, his seat's getting warmer.
Danny, you and I like to talk about the baseball nerds and what they're saying about the Padres. Well, we talked to one of them, and one of the coolest baseball nerds is Dan Zaborski, and he was talking about how preseason projections to this point in the season are actually still more valid than taking into account what the numbers are currently. At what point does that run out, being a cool baseball nerd yourself? Like, at what point do you start taking what's happened through these first games and say, yeah, no, this is probably what the Padres team is?
They're all getting hot at the right time. They're all getting cold at the right time. Like, they're on the same trajectories right now. Like when Tatis has really been the only exception. Tatis has been pretty much hot most of the year, and they've been riding him. But Soto got hot for a while, and then Manning got hot for a while, and then they rode the back of Gary Sanchez for a while. But then they all go cold at the same time too. So, like, how about this? I found this very, very interesting. You mentioned baseball nerdism. The San Diego Padres, when runners are on base, they have a 192 batting average. Or excuse me, on the seventh inning on, they have a 192 batting average. That's the worst in Major League Baseball, and a 609 OPS from the seventh inning on. That is also the worst in baseball. So they're not finishing games. They're actually getting out to leads. They're getting runners on base. They're just not capitalizing. And again, it's hard to place blame on things like that, because seventh inning on, that's when the intangibles come in, right? Like the clutch factor. They're just not doing it.
That's such a good point, and it is fascinating to focus on these late inning meltdowns, because in San Diego, we're used to it, and almost to the point where we're inoculated to it, and we don't feel it as much anymore. But when it slaps you in the face like it has over the past two nights in consecutive fashion against the Giants, where they're on a 9-game heater, and we thought the Padres were heating up, and they get walked off twice in back-to-back games, it's tough it's definitely a tough pill to swallow. Danny Vietti joining us, CBS Sports. You mentioned AJ Preller's seat is getting warmer. I agree with you. I think that AJ Preller's seat is most likely getting warmer, but I say pump the brakes and I preach patience because I'm worried that say this season goes sideways, and that's a realistic potential at this point with this record. So say this season goes sideways and they fire AJ Preller. Does that automatically mean that the Padres are hitting the reset button, selling off parts, and we're going to go right back to where we started? Because that's my fear. And so that's the reason why I'm preaching patience with this front office and even with the manager and these players, because those were dark times before this recent resurgence.
We're getting deep on the hypotheticals here, and I don't want to go too deep because I do think there's a lot of season left. The panic button is like within view, but we're not hitting it yet. So I don't want to go too deep. I will answer your question, though, and just say that as long as Peter Seidler is at the helm, he's evidently willing to spend money and put a competitive product on the field. As long as you have Peter Seidler by your side, I wouldn't be too concerned about the future. Whether it's AJ Preller calling the shots, whether it's Billy Epler, whether it's whomever, as long as you have Seidler, saying, here you go, here's my credit card, I wouldn't be too worried about baseball in San Diego because he has earned that faith and trust.
You made me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because I was very concerned earlier.
I tried to do the same thing earlier in the show, Danny, and I think I just came off as kind of a jerk, but you put it very eloquently.
Yeah. Yeah. Ben was like, dude, that is not what's going to happen. But we should fire AJ Preller. I'm like, wait, we should? And he was like, well, if the season goes wrong and if everybody hates him, then I say, yeah, let's get our torches and pitchforks. I'm like, Ben, what's happening? So we got into a big argument. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Peter Seidler, what's different from the first time AJ Preller built this with Upton and all those guys, Kemp, it's different now because Peter Seidler is in control of the checkbook and he has spent money. So regardless of what happens in this quote unquote window that we're in now with Tatis and Bogarts and Machado and potentially Soto, if he becomes a picture of the long-term success and Cronenworth, et cetera, you're saying that even if they move on from Preller at some point, that you can rest assured based on what Peter Seidler has taught us that this is still going, the window will still be open regardless of what happens in the front office.
Look, worst case scenario, you have a terrible 2023. Oh, you still have Manny in your pocket for another decade. Oh, you have Tatis in your pocket for another decade. Maybe Soto too. I don't, obviously that's still going to play itself out. Maybe Shohei Ohtani. We'll see. I have a question. How about I answer your guys' question with a question though?
Okay.
This is probably the first or second time that Padre fans are dealing with a team with expectations that are disappointing. What's worse? A team with expectations that's been a disappointment, or zero expectations whatsoever and still losing?
Well, I mean, the column A with a bullet.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I would rather at least have a chance and have a team underperforming expectations than wake up and look at the roster and say they're starting 3 Rule 5ers. We have no chance.
Well, and with expectations comes, like, the Padres have already set their franchise record for sellouts in a year. Like, if you've been to Petco Park this year, it's been freaking electric. And it's a disappointment, yes, but there's excitement around the city. And I think that's worth it.
Yeah. Danny, what's your gut? Do the Padres make the postseason?
I've kind of been a little bit of a Padres homer all year and just been saying that the runners in scoring, these hitters are too good to not score runs when runners are on base. It's June, and I've been preaching this for 2 months now, and it still hasn't happened. But I'm still going to lean on the side of these hitters are too damn good to not start producing with runners on base. They've proven it over their career. So I lean on the side of they'll figure it out.
Danny, what's your Taco Bell order? Like when you get to the drive-through window? Like, I'm a big fan of the cheesy gordita crunch, extra spicy ranch sauce.
How can you not be?
I believe you're a burrito guy.
Oh yeah, I do like the burrito supreme. However, lately Taco Bell, I roll up and literally say, "Do you have a $5 box?" Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
matter
I don't care what's in it.
We don't ask what's in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Danny,
no,
what
I've
about
been
you?
there, but you know what? Their $5 boxes have been a real disappointment of recent. You know, like they used to have the chalupas, they used to have a crunch wrap one. Now what? We actually ordered a crunch wrap for wifey the other day, and it was up over $6. I was like,
Oh.
Taco Bell, what are we doing here?
Right. How do you feel about the nacho fries though when those come out?
Yeah, it doesn't excite me. You know, I'm pretty basic. I'll stick with the 5-layer burritos. I do like the I think it's a Chipotle chicken burrito. It's only like $2, which is a good call too.
It's a good deal. It's delicious. But yeah, with your take on the nacho fries, this is all the time we have.
Can we finish this on a positive note? Danny, Fernando Tatis Jr. might have been the best player in Major League Baseball this far through June.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up and he's putting up crazy numbers and he's hitting enough home runs and he's in the MVP conversation at all, does the steroid have any impact on that?
It will in the perception of the public and players and the media. Look, the media in the league in particular does not want Tatis to win the MVP. You do not want a player that was suspended last year for PEDs to all of a sudden, suspension over, he's back to being the best player in baseball. But evidently that's what he's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's kind of chalk right now with Acuna being the front runner for MVP. But right now, Tatis is in position that it's actually in his favor that the Padres have struggled, because all of a sudden, if you see that season turn itself around and they go on the back of Tatis, he's going to get even more credit for turning around the season, as opposed to Acuna is already on a really good team and deserves a lot of credit. But when you visually see a season turnaround on its axis mid-season, you tend to give more credit to a player. So the media does not want it. I think most of the players and fans probably don't want it, but you can't ignore the numbers. He's already back to being one of the best players in baseball.
Waiting for Fernando to get on a bit of a heater.
That's right.
Come on, Nando. We love him out there in the outfield. Shake and bake.
Nando.
Danny, we love it every time. Thanks for putting up with us, brother.
All right, guys. Enjoy.
There he goes, Danny Vietti, CBS Sports. And we need callers on the line right now. 844-570-1360. Again, that number, 844-570-1360. If you want to win Fallout Boy tickets, now's your chance. Call in. We got Sitcom Rodeo coming up next.
We got a pair of tickets to see Fall Out Boy at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on July 1st. Doing a little sitcom rodeo to get those. Coming up next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres do lose another close one in walk-off fashion in the Bay Area, except this time it wasn't a walk-off homer. It was a walk-off walk. Josh Hader walking Jock Peterson in the bottom of the ninth inning, allowing the winning run to score. Padres now 35-38 on the year. Giants have actually won 9 straight. They fly up the division. They fly up all the National League rankings. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 8-6. D-backs lose to the Brewers 7-5. Dodgers take down the Angels 2-0. Tennis, Venus Williams. She's going to be back at Wimbledon this year to compete for her 24th Wimbledon. She is 43 years old. Staples Total Support Plans are your tech plans for the unplanned with 24/7 PC protection against bugs, cracks, hacks. Plans start as low as $199.99, plus now get up to $250 off computers. In-store only, offer ends July 29th. See an associate for details. Protect your tech at Staples.
That was a nice little look ahead there.
Yeah, that was really good. He nailed it.
Yeah,
He nailed it.
He's good at that. It's Big Red Cheating Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. When I read the headline about this sub, it said searchers detect banging every 30 minutes.
Ayo.
Yeah, that's where my head went as well.
Travis just goes to me. He's like, "Do you think?"
Every 30 minutes, they're
It's
like,
do you think they're just bored and they're just like, well, shit. I mean, we're gonna die anyway, so
It's 5 dudes.
may as well just bang each other. It's 5 dudes. There's
Yeah.
not a lady on there.
No.
Who says that they can't party?
That doesn't
You're right.
stop it.
But apparently they literally just make as much noise as possible for 3 minutes every 30 minutes.
Dude, I feel like that would use up the oxygen. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not a hammer in there. They can ding, 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 ding,
Well,
ding on
all
the
5
side.
of them are.
Oh, they're rattling. They're rocking the boat. And when the sub comes a knocking,
Yeah.
we're rocking.
Then
Don't go a knocking.
As
If it
we're
comes
making
rocking,
light
please
of
come
this,
knocking
we're-
and
we're-
save them.
We're making light of this. This is a really horrific situation.
Oh, dude, this.
I mean, horrible.
and now I can't stop laughing
Yeah.
because we were talking about them.
It's a
banging each other.
catastrophe.
Yeah,
Is it?
it is.
It is a
cat-
catastrophe.
it is.
God, your daughter still hasn't spoken to me since then.
No, it's been radio silent. It's been radio silent.
Mm.
Let's play a little game here.
Not a whisper. Not a whisper.
or
Get
Whisker.
the hell out.
I'm
Or-
sorry.
Or
How's your
a-
dog
a
doing?
Whisker.
Yeah, yeah.
Whisper. The doggy is home and feeling much, much better.
And Finley is still without kidney stones or bladder stones?
Finley has no more kidney stone, bladder stones. I got the most expensive animals in the world at my house
It's
now.
a Christmas miracle,
yeah,
Clark.
yeah, well, yeah,
Real
it really
nice,
is.
Clark.
real nice.
We're
Hey.
not talking to Clark. We're talking to Tony
That's
today.
right. That's right. Tony, how are you, man?
Good, good.
You like Fallout Boy? Yeah.
Enough to call you, I guess. Are we playing sitcom
yeah.
rodeo or what?
I'm looking to sell these tickets.
Tony, we honestly do not care what you do with these tickets, but we do care if you win them and if you have a good time playing sitcom rodeo. Do you understand the rules of the show? This is so simple, right? All you got to do, right, is
Of course it
we're
is.
going to play you 8 seconds of a television theme song. And you just got to guess what television show that's attached to. Does it sound like something up your alley?
Okay.
Tony, Ben Fletcher did point out it is very much against the law to sell the tickets. You can only sell them for face value, and the face value
No,
is
you can't sell tickets you win on the radio.
No, it's comp. They're comp tickets. You can get them nothing.
By
It's
the
nothing.
way-
you can't sell them. I'm agreeing with you.
I've been doing radio for close to a decade now. I just learned something. I had no idea. I don't really pay attention when we do our code of conduct training at all.
Good.
All right, Tony,
Yeah,
man.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear, Tony. Can't
Okay.
sell them. That's against the law. Against the law. So
That's good.
yeah, but here you go, man. You're gonna listen to a clip. You're gonna tell us what theme song that TV show is from. You got to get 3 out of 5 correct. Here's your first one.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family.
Okay. All right, Tony.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
This
Watch
was
that one a lot.
Big hit, and that show theme song should be very recognizable to
Never
most.
heard of it.
What?
Except for Ben.
What?
But Tony, can you name that TV show?
I'm not sure. I'm going to say head of the class.
Ooh,
That's a
I'm
good show.
Sorry,
That
that
is
is
a
a
good
great show. But the correct answer is Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Wow.
Why do you not know that?
Days of
Ben?
our lives.
No, it was Charles in Charge. Charles in Charge.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Scott. With
is it?
Scott
Okay,
Baio.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I missed that one. It's fine. You're down 0-1.
Yeah.
So we'll get you the next clip here, Tony. Here it is.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean-
that's famous.
We cut it off right before the lyrics kick in because literally the lyrics give you the show name within the first second. So
Never heard of this one either.
wow. Okay, Tony.
What?
Ben, stop playing.
I know it. What is it?
What was that?
Gomer Pyle.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is incorrect. Mundo, this is Green Acres.
Wow.
Tony's-
pretty close, though, Tony.
Tony's
Pretty close.
having a good time.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that you have fun and you
Right.
don't sell your tickets.
Right. That's correct. That's correct. So we're gonna give you clip number 3. Hopefully we got a softball here. I felt like the last 2 were. So
Oh boy.
yeah. There we go. Clip number 3, Tony.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I will try not to sing out of key. Oh, baby,
From my friend. Tony, can you tell me what song that's from?
A little help from my friends.
Okay.
That's a theme song, man.
Geez, I'm gonna say Friends.
There was no clapping in that.
Oh for 3.
He did that. that was the Wonder Years, Tony.
Dude.
The Wonder Years.
Joe Cocker's rendition of "A Little Help from My Friends" may be my favorite song of all time.
It's
That
fantastic.
song may be my favorite.
I already
song.
hung up on Tony. We have a new caller on the line from the 615. What up,
caller.
615? Who we got?
What's up? It's Scott.
What up, Scott?
Man, you are about to play Sudden Death for Fall Out Boy tickets, Scott. Are you ready to play Sitcom Rodeo?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Is it sudden death? It's just one and done?
I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
Ben gives the nod here. All right. Well, here you
Tony.
go. Here's your one clip that you got to say whatever the show it's from.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of dancing in here.
Dude, Scott.
Yeah. We're
You
really
got-
getting down.
You got to nail this for us. Otherwise, we're going to have to open the floodgates. So, can you name the television show attached to that theme song?
I'm not that confident, but maybe Sanford and Son.
Oh no!
Wow.
That was Night Court.
Night Court.
Night Court.
We have one clip left.
Okay, but
I thought I sent you 6.
maybe we could get another caller on the line if
In
there's
terms
time.
of time, we have one clip left.
Okay. 844-570-1360. We need another caller for Fallout Boy tickets. 844-570-1360 is the number to call. Dude, I thought somebody would get Night Court.
Right.
That saxophone, when it comes in, that jazzy little riff. Okay,
Ooh.
caller, you're on the line with us. You were the first in. Reveal yourself. Who are we speaking with?
Tony.
Is it Tony again?
Is this the same Tony?
Yeah.
Tony. All right, next up. Caller from the 858. Reveal yourself. Tony trying to sneak back in.
Hi, am I on?
Yeah,
You're on,
What's
you're
your,
on.
Well, what's your name, man?
Hey, my name's Matt. What's up, guys?
What's up, Matt? What's up? Were you able to pick any of those songs out in this
Yeah.
game show
Did
so
you guess
far?
any of these correctly?
Oh, I knew all of them.
Okay.
And
Here
I'm
we
a
go.
huge Fall Out Boy fan.
Here we go.
Matt's the right guy.
Matt's our guy. Here you go,
Sudden
Matt.
death.
Yeah, this is it. Here you go. Here's your one clip, Matt.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about.
Matt, welcome back.
Yeah. Or really, we should have said welcome back to Tony.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We hung up on him.
Matt, come on. Welcome back. There's only one more word in the themes.
Dude, these are so hard, man. I think you should just give me the tickets for being a huge Fall Out Boy fan.
Oh my gosh, we cannot do that,
Yeah,
Matt.
come on,
We are
that's
going to
against
hang
the
up
rules.
on you as
you
well.
Want to take a get? No. Take a
Okay, but don't say what the actual thing is.
Oh, yeah.
Next person can try to guess.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Next
okay.
person. Who we got on the line here?
Yeah, caller, reveal yourself. You potentially could win these Fallout Boy tickets if you can answer the correct television theme name there. Who are we speaking with?
Dan,
Dan.
Dan. Sounds like a Dan.
Dan, did you hear that theme?
come on. Welcome back, Connor.
You may be coming home without a hint of pride, but you won't be a king.
Because you just won yourself a pair of tickets to go see Fall Out Boy on Saturday, June 1st at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Everybody else is going to livenation.com for tickets and info. But you, Dan, you have won them, and I got to tell you, I was sweating it. Yeah.
Dan's the man.
I thought it was going to come down to just whoever called next.
Dan the damn man.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who are you taking to Fallout Boy?
Say Tony.
My wife.
All right,
Right
man.
on,
Enjoy
right on.
it. Enjoy it on us. Honestly,
Yeah.
we really had to scrimp and save for those. Oh, we appreciate you playing. That's
Did you
the
just pull a
cover.
hammy?
I should stretch more. I just realized my groin took the brunt of that.
The word mustache, a mustache, a mustache. Now we both have said mustache, a mustache, a mustache. If you only got a mustache.
Man.
All right.
Well, nicely done, Dan. Hang on the line there. Ben will get your info, and we'll get you those tickets.
Coming up next, we got to talk a bowling affair. Trust me, you're gonna love this story. The Good Feet store is improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time, and for good reason, because these arch supports that they fit you for over at the Good Feet store have numerous benefits. For me personally, after playing 6 years in the NFL, I woke up every day for a long time with severe back pain, and it just stunk. Ruins your mood, makes you a little grouchy, less eager to do things active. So I needed a solution. Go to the Good Feet store, sit down in the chair, get your feet sized, pressure tested. You do the free test walk. And if it's comfortable for you, you walk out of there. And for me, in my experience, I felt much better immediately. And then over the weeks, the months since I've been wearing these arch supports, the pain has virtually been eliminated. But they have more benefits than just that. Pain relief is the main chief concern for me, but better balance, better performance, injury prevention, recovery, the things that you're looking for in your life, again, are precision fit to your personal needs, lifestyle, profession, footwear. You could book your appointment right now at goodfeet.com or walk into one of their 200 locations across the U.S. and overseas. Get to the Good Feet store today. Coming up next, a scandal on the slippery lanes. We'll explain. Yeah. Yeah. That's how we're going to cruise into the
one
finish.
I wanted right there.
Nice jazzy little bass line. That really matches up well with this next story out of the sports world. Have you guys heard about the Stephen F. Austin female bowling team?
I have, actually.
Okay,
I
well,
saw this.
they're making
Saw this with you.
What's going on with them?
Okay, so the
what's
assistant
happening?
bowling coach over at Stephen F. Austin stepped down from his position after it was discovered that he was cheating on his wife, who is the head coach of the same team. And who is he cheating with? A member of the team.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Stephen Lemke is married to head coach Amber Lemke, but the school discovered he was having an affair with a female member of the team. Steve resigned from his position on April 10th after he had no choice but to choose to resign, as athletic director Ryan Ivey said. The Lemkes have since divorced, and I'm going to do this in a Southern accent because I think it's appropriate. This is how Steve defended himself. He's not staying silent on the issue. He says, and I quote, "I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's like no rules saying it can't happen, man. There's no like law saying I'm going to jail for doing something like this. Like there's nothing in stone, man. Like I guess it's just like on an ethics code or whatever, but like, or frowned upon. But there's like no rule, man. There's no law broken here, man."
Right. Yeah. There's no rule against it, so you can't fire me for it. Apparently, his wife Amber found out about the affair because of a text message, and he explained the text, and he said it didn't have anything in detail. It was just about how amazing I am, basically in general perspective.
This guy's Brian Kelly.
Man, when I was talking about like my fingers and all that, I was talking about bowling, man. That's all I was saying.
Get him in the balls.
Call me Greasy Balls Steve Lemke.
College bowling, man.
They call me.
I always hear it, man.
Yeah.
The college bowling teams is where it really goes down. A lot of wild stuff.
They call me Slippery Lane Steve Lemke.
I was thinking this was going to be another. You remember the Wisconsin volleyball team?
Yeah.
Was that last year?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, yeah. That was an interesting situation.
When you brought up female college bowling, I thought that's what was going on.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No.
We cannot go back down that path. We cannot go back down that path.
They had like 26 sellouts in a row.
They came out and support those girls after they celebrated their national championship.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's all it was about. I'm
Yes.
sure it had nothing to do with the leak photos.
No.
It was objectively horrible.
Oh, Simon, please stop.
No, Paula. No.
Simon, she tried.
She's a big girl. She's got a big girl pants on. We do the dumbest show on the radio.
I can't remember what we were talking about with that.
Either. I don't know.
Pretty sure it was sexual tension between Simon Cowell and Paula Abdul.
Yeah, but why were who was on American Idol? I can't even remember.
No one.
Oh, it was Fergie.
Oh, Fergie, the national anthem.
National anthem.
Because we're going to talk about the NBA draft with Victor Wembanyama, and instead we decided to
Talk
play
about
Fergie singing the national anthem, and then it spiraled into American Idol.
I've had so many high chews.
Dude, these are so good. You want more? I have so many over here.
I'd have to dig back into that. Aaron Rodgers apparently is set to speak at a psychedelics conference.
Oh yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, he's into it, man. He's discovered. You know what? The one thing I will say, I've never done any psychedelics. I would tell you guys if I have. Never done them. Very curious though, because people say that they have these shared experiences where they talk to like little dancing trolls or gnomes or whatever.
Isn't that like DMT though? That's the stuff that like can actually mess with your brain.
DMT? What is that?
I don't know. I listened to a podcast with Rogan about it, but it was like everyone who takes it like goes to the same place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe we should all take it together and go to the same place together.
Because I think that you can also die.
Okay. That is a risk that you're willing to take when you take DMT or you go on a submersible that was made at Camping World.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the way, they are banging every 30 minutes. That's been confirmed.
That is confirmed.
We should stop joking about this.
You are probably correct. Yes.
You know
I
what they
still
say?
don't understand.
Laughter is the greatest healer. They don't say that. I just made that up.
They're probably down to like 3 hours of air or less at this
with
point.
all the banging.
They should listen to Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We're a 3-hour show. We got to stop. Thank you to Danny Vietti.
Using up the air.
Thank you to Chris Vanini. Lots of ease on the show today. Appreciate both those guys. They're up on the free iHeartRadio app, also on YouTube. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Travis. Texters, roadies, hangers, bangers, dogs, all you people.
Yeah, and Chadwick on the stream has said, you know what? Let the Padres Padre and Melvin. The games have been great. They're just coming up short. This team is amazing to watch. Papa Coors and get on with it. Go Padres.
I love it. All right, the Herd's next. We'll see you tomorrow.